combo.
Yeah, I think not a car that I've seen him in before, so it might have been a new combination. Of course, the Varelis family, another one of those families that seems to bleed blue. Every car that I've seen them drive is Ford of some description.
Certainly, and we'll mention their name more than once with multiple drivers.
Correct. Our next pair sitting in the water box here, the Super Street competitors coming through thick and fast this morning. A pretty good field entered for the first round.
Absolutely. Super Street's always really well supported. And as we hear Adam Bowers get on to the limiter through the burnout, and Robert Matisic is down there in that beautiful Camaro.
Yeah, big block Chev in the Camaro. Classic American muscle car.
So obviously we're just into qualifying rounds here this morning. Definitely some nice lights being cut out there early today. 016 for Matisic in the Aeroflow lane. Bowers is going to get to the stripe first. The 10.07 with an 8 at 132 to a 10.718 at 125. The Camaro looked like it sort of fell off a little bit as it was going down the track, but nonetheless it's only early in the day. All right, Bruce Ritchie in the Bel Air, Greyhound as he's known, is down there. He's come up from the ACT. He's a regular competitor here in that giant Chevy. He's got the 572 cubic inch big block on board. And then Alan Stevenson, Power Plus New South Wales.
Yeah, two very different styles of race cars sitting down there. We've got a Suburb in the left-hand lane, and a residential block driving down in the Rocket Lane in comparison. The Suburb gets there first though, Pat. A 10.88 with a 1 at 125. That big block Chev working a treat. 11.50, 119 for the HB in the Rocket Lane.
Absolutely, pretty healthy for the Chevy there. Stevenson 013 on the light, which is good to see. But yeah, didn't continue on down the track. So.
Well, our Super Street competitors are very, very good on the reaction times as usual. I think there was one round last year, Pat. Not 100% sure if you were here. We had one racer come up and say, "Yeah, but I've done a triple low light. I should be number one qualifier." He was like fourth.
Yeah,
there was 4 people that had done it in front of him by the end of qualifying. And a triple low light's certainly not an easy thing to do. Craig Warren and Corey Stutchery leaving the start line a thousandth apart, but both on the red side. The Stutcherys will be pretty busy today. I believe there is 3 or 4 of them down in the pits, all part of the dialed-in racing group.
Yeah, absolutely.
6 or 7 cars in that.
They've got their shirt kit going on. There's a team kit down there, which is good to see.
Jim Raptis in the Aeroflow lane, running for Go Logistics in the Tirana, taking on Rodney Belgowan in the Rocket lane. All right, Mark Elborn in the Power Plus utility down there in the Aeroflow lane, taking on Peter Giddens. The Street Neat Paint and Panel Cortina, 347 cubed, wins the power plant on board. Peter, one of our hard-working officials here, but again, we've given him the day off.
Yeah.
And he can enjoy burning some rubber in the Cortina. Just lifting that left front on the hit. Goes 020 red on the tree. Elborn in the Aeroflow lane, an 029 green. Cordy will get there first across the finish line, 11.39 at 120, Pat.
It's great to see Pete back out in that Cortina. I know he passed on a couple of the last rounds last year, I believe, but the Cortina is doing everything that it normally does. All right, we're going to move on to Philip Armstrong. Keystone acoustic panelling on board with the Commodore down there, 355 Holden power. It's got backing by Race Engine Development. And we have racer 8195, which I don't have the data on screen at the moment. I'll see if I can find it in our entry list. I've got a feeling that may be Aidan Stutchbury down there.
Armstrong gets their first pat, 11.06 with a 3.111 mile an hour. I believe that is a brand new car. It's been put together in the last week.
Certainly.
Next up, we have Eden Abella in the utility LS1 Turbo on board. Eden, a regular racer here at Sydney Dragway, competes at just about every Race for Real Wednesday night that we have.
Yes.
Taking on the runner-up from last year's championship and the year before, Mark Hopkins.
That tidy little Alex Tirana down there. It's got a little bit of modern technology tied in with that 312 cubic inch Holden engine.
Yes.
And it's working a treat at the moment. Came off the line really clean there, 158 60 foot for Hopkins. Basically doing it easy. It looks like he's going to just get the stripe first. A 10.93 with a 4 at 123. 11.04 with a 7 for Eden Abella in the Aeroflow lane at 128 miles per hour.
Now that little Tirana only 5 mile an hour down on a Turbo LS, so definitely working pretty well at the top end.
Yeah, she's got all the RPM, I would say, for
Yes.
Holden engine.
It'd be sing for its supper, as they say at the top
right,
end
yes.
of the racetrack here.
I believe we just had as well in previous pairing, we had not Hopkins, we had the blue VH, but the black VH I believe was Aidan Stutchbury.
Yes.
We didn't have his data on board, but yeah, good to see him out here, I think in a new car that he has run before. All right, guys, we are back with you. Now, apologise if you've had a couple of little interruptions or a little bit of feedback coming through on the stream or here live at the track. We are working out some kinks in new system to get all of the racing action from New South Wales Track Championships out to everyone in the world. So please bear with us, but we should be back on track in just a moment.
It looks like we have the junior dragsters rolling under the tunnel, Pat. Of course, we're just fitting the safety apparatus, I believe, to the top end of the racetrack. And, of course, one of our new sponsors on board from a bracket point of view is Speedflow. Of course, they're throwing their weight behind a junior dragster and junior drag bike here for this season at Sydney Dragway. It's fantastic to see it. Of course, Speedflow already sponsoring, I think, 5 junior dragsters at one point.
Yeah, absolutely. The lifting families know, that's another one of those names that we're constantly mentioning through a bracket, but it's great to see them get behind the bracket as a whole, really getting behind the junior races, which is what we need here in Australia, and also junior drag bike.
Yeah, 100%. It's great to see that family-run business is supporting local. Of course, we see their products online through their Facebook pages and whatnot, and for a locally made product to be shipped worldwide and used by racers worldwide is absolutely fantastic. We see them getting into the SEMA shows and the racing trade industry show. Yes. So big step up for them in terms of their business and their exposure to different markets as well. And that's obviously working a treat for them, and
certainly
throwing the money behind junior drag bike, of course, in a way ensuring hopefully the next generation of racers and parts buyers
exactly
for their business.
And that's what it's all about. It's about people supporting the people that support you.
Yes.
I know that's probably thrown around quite a bit, but if you're in the market for it, we've got sponsors up and down the Sydney Dragway here. We've got great sponsors that have come on board with all of the brackets. So if there's anything that you're looking for in your daily life, in the racing package, the racing program needs some new parts or something like that, then you've got plenty of people to choose from that are putting the money that your hard-earned money that you're spending with them is coming back into the sport that you love. So there's really no better way to do it.
And I mean, the best way to give them the feedback, of course, is by saying, hey, I saw your sign at Sydney Dragway, and
exactly.
I really like the sport, and I wanted to help someone that's helping something that I really enjoy. Not everyone that sponsors the racetrack here or a bracket sponsor is specifically related to motorsport, and that's certainly not a bad thing. It's actually really good to get that diversification. So, you might want to move a package around, the Sydney Metro to Brisbane and Canberra. Go Logistics.
No better business in Sydney, that's for sure, than shipping packages from one side to the other. Go Logistics are unreal, and of course, are sponsoring Super Sedan.
Exactly right. Another one, you might want to borrow some money for that race car.
You might need to.
Or a property or whatever it might be, Pepper Money. I've been a customer of theirs at one point in my adulting life. That Pepper Money was able to help me out, and fantastic product and fantastic service. They do all sorts of loans for different things, not just property. Race cars and other stuff.
Motorcycles. I was actually the recipient from Pepper Money when I sold a motorcycle a few years ago.
Yes.
And it was amazingly easy. Basically, the gentleman came and he looked at the bike and went, "Yep, no worries. Here's a deposit." Gave me cash.
Yep.
And he said, "I'll get my finance guys to get in contact with you." So the guy rang me from Pepper Money. He said, "Download our app." So I downloaded the app. He goes, "You follow the instructions, take some photos of the bike, identifiers and things like that.
Yes.
Send it all off to him." That was all done on the app. They went, "Yep, no worries." And then
and they paid you direct.
And they paid.
Oh
me
wow.
direct. Yep.
Oh, okay. So that's something a little bit different.
Yeah. So not just for selling necessarily, but buying at the same time.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. Well, it's always good to get that direct feedback, of course, and Enviro Waste is another one as well. We see their containers or their tanks down the back. Of course, we want the racers to dispose of their waste fluids in a responsible manner and provide that.
Not so much in the wheelie bins with a plastic liner in it. We're not a big fan of that, to be honest.
That's
Please don't do that.
not what they're for.
Don't empty your catch cans into the wheelie bin. That'd be really good. Enviro Waste Services have been amazing by providing plenty of those IBCs. So if you need to do an oil change, whether it's transmission, engine oil, just emptying catch cans, even disposing of fuel that you think may have gone bad, if the vehicle's been stored for a long time, that's what they're down there for. So please use that. Of course, other sponsors that are here, we've got VP Racing. I think almost everyone that's racing in drag racing has used some form of VP product that's out there. Tight group of companies are on the wall down here. Conoco, Atlantic Oils, Platinum Racing Products, Nido Performance Engineering, Rocket Industries, and Aeroflow Performance, of course, and so many more that are all around the track getting back into it. But as you can hear, the little crackle of those methanol burning, can't say lawnmower engines anymore.
No, they're far from that.
They're a long way from it. But the Speed Flow Performance Junior Dragster bracket is about to get started. Down there, the Cordell de Maria down there.
I think Cordell may have done at least one race meeting here before, but we'll go on the solo here this morning, running for Hume Performance. It's a name that's been around a long time, Hume Performance. I remember they used to back one of my favourite cars back when I was racing. That was the Fred Cavazzini coupe, of course, that black 34 coupe that ran into the sevens 30-something years ago now.
Don't say the number, mate. Just say many years ago.
Yeah.
If you say the number, it makes it feel like right.
Fair. Well, Cordell on the start line right now.
On the paper.
course, Junior Dragster running to the 8th mile mark here at Sydney Dragway, half track, so runs through with an 8:17 with an 8:78 mile an hour. Not a bad way to kick off your licensing procedure.
Absolutely, I believe that was licensing going from a B to a B.
Ah, okay, so more familiarisation for the new power plant potentially, or step up in horsepower.
Certainly. Benjamin Attard coming up in the rocket lane here from Greystanes in New South Wales. We've of course got ITF Hire, Pro Tool Towing on board. Low Fabrications chipping in a little bit of assistance there for the program.
That actually looks like a new car down there for Benjamin Attard. Looking very sharp in the black with the livery down there.
Great livery, yeah. I love all the juniors coming through with all these great liveries. It's unreal. I mean, obviously it's got to fit into the budget, which is completely understandable. But if you can get it on there, it's killer. Attard, yep. This is B into A.
Okay,
so same as Cordell. It is a new car because he hasn't driven this before.
I have a feeling I know whose car it may be, but we'll have to find that out off air. Of course, if it is the car that I'm thinking, it has a fair bit of history in Junior Dragster and a fair amount of success. So Benjamin has definitely shown his skill as a driver. I think he licensed into his first car with the triple low line. So
no problem. Just make everyone else look bad.
That's it, 100%. And of course, these races don't use electronics as driver's aids. They're all done with the driver's brain and reaction.
Yep.
And an 8:43 with a 9 there, 76 mile an hour through the top end. Easy as you like.
Nice and cruisy. I believe we're going to have one more licensing here, which could be Liam O'Neill. I can't quite see the number on that dragster.
Fantastic to see Princey Motorsports down there introducing yet another racer into a better category. Of course, Liam O'Neill, I don't know if it's his normal car, if it's been repainted. Of course, he was in the Little Bandit and had competed in that car for a number of seasons.
Yeah, looks like it is a new car. Spitzer. But way.
Liam also supported by Rusty Media Solutions. Away with a 1:32 reaction time. Sub 2 seconds to the 60 foot and runs on through for a 9:74 with a 0.48 mile an hour. That is a bunch quicker than the 12.0 that he's used to in C Junior Dragster.
Yeah. So obviously stepping up to a B.
I'd imagine that you'd stay in that category until you license in the new one.
Yeah.
So this will certainly be a tough race in terms of just qualifying. We've got Zane Condello down there in the airflow lane, running for Fine Line Motorsports. He is our current Australian champion in Junior Dragster, and he's taking on our current track champion, Piper Bennett. Piper did really well last night in the acceptance speech, of course taking home the number 1 plate for the track championship here at Sydney Dragway, running for 8 Crew Designs, Tequila Sunrise and Stratus Form. One of the prettiest, actually there's a pair of the prettiest juniors on the start line right now. The detail in Condello's car is unbelievable, but the paintwork on Bennett's machine, second to none. There's ghost ghosting in all the
Yep.
graphics, and it's all painted. It's not vinyl.
Yep.
Very large amount of effort and time gone into presenting that car.
Absolutely, and Piper's got the ability and the performance to back up the looks as well. Very much so. Great to see, but yeah, a bit of a showdown already. It's almost a burn down going on in the first round of qualifying between these two. Everyone's just taking their time. Get the first half underway. Mandela, which is pretty well up for him. He's going to run on to be there in 8 for an 8 on 2 and 3 at 81 miles an hour, and Pop Bennett an 8.21 with 6 at 79.79 miles per hour. So clean passes, which is what we're looking for on the first lick down the track. It looks like Piper's dad has some race gear on, so he might be getting in. Might be getting in the car.
I didn't notice that.
I can see some SFI pants and boots down there. See if Dad can back up the daughter's efforts.
or maybe he just really likes walking around.
That's like when I get here, when I ride my bike, I keep my jacket on it for a while. It makes me look cool though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I must admit, your helmet does look pretty unreal up here, mate.
The helmet looks cool. It's just all smoke and mirrors.
Doesn't
all the
matter,
gear, no idea.
The person driving past you on the road doesn't know that, though, do they?
That's the plan, mate. All right. Another tough pair of races coming up. We've got Chloe Ryko down there, mum and dad behind her junior dragster, double A junior dragster, so the new category that was introduced late last year. They can run a little bit faster in the double A's, which is great because technology is moving forward. The engines are now able to supply the horsepower to get these things down. It's a 450cc single cylinder running on methanol. So why pull it back so far?
Yeah, I think there's not much left in these things that are Briggs and Stratton. They're full billet block, billet heads, stroker cranks, big cams. Yes.
I know it's still sort of based on
bigger. Yeah, it's like a Sonny Jenkins compared to a big box share, but just nothing fits. 079 on the tree for Reiko. She was our runner-up in the 24 series. Ran through there for a 780, a 787 with a 4 at 82 mile an hour, and an 808 with a 7 for Condello in the rocket lane.
Savannah getting that 041 light, which is a nice way to start the day.
Jacob Longo down there in the Aeroflow lane, running for Trackside Automotive, new sponsor on board for Jacob. He's been running a few seasons here at Sydney Dragway. In the rocket lane, we have Alex Rafalo for Sydney Waterscapes down there.
Is that a bit of a new combination for Alex? I think it's familiar that it was a blue car last year.
No, it's a similar looking car. It just looks like he's having some issues there. Every time he touches the throttle, it wants to stall, and unfortunately, Alex being pushed away from the water box down there. Hopefully, the team can sort that, because that car normally very, very reliable and very consistent. We don't normally see many pushbacks or incomplete passes from Junior Dragster. As highly strung as these cars are, they are pretty reliable.
It's a tried and tested combination, really, isn't it? There's not too much experimental sort of action going on.
How good
rocket lane?
How good does it look? How good does it look? It looks racy just sitting there. And Longo, he runs through for his qualifying effort, a 2:57 reaction time. A 9:47 with a 9:61 mile an hour through the top end. And we have George Takalis for Brick and Go Brick Lane. Hugh Performance, Danny's Restoration and Polishing. He's in the Aeroflow lane, taking on Jaden Bunazev. Bunazev for North Rocks Auto Centre.
This car looks unreal.
It does. The red with the silver and black, it just it really looks sharp.
And I love the little mini chutes on the back as well. It's got the twin chutes like a Top Fuel car, I want to see him drop them at the end of the run.
You've been able to tick that box on Junior Dragsters for a while if you order them, but I have seen, I hope this doesn't happen to any of our junior competitors out there, but I have seen a number of times where the chutes popped out, and of course,
big
in eliminations, yeah, they might only be small, but it's enough to slow the car.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it makes a big difference. And you set them out the back. Right. Both edging into stage here in Junior Dragsters, brought to you by Speedflow. Australian-made performance hose fittings. Also, drag lights coming up soon. To Carlos, not getting away as cleanly as we would normally see it. BNSF running 193 on the reaction time. 12.81 with a 7 at 49 miles per hour. 12.62 at 51 for Carlos. Jake McMurray in the Aeroflow lane, another AA Junior Dragster, Fine Line Motorsports on board. Of course, we can see Brett down there. At the Bank of Pop, Quincy Motorsports on board. And in the Rocket lane, we've got Joshua Maggs, another AA Junior Dragster, Road Warrior Trailers, Speedflow Performance Products, and Atlantic Oils on board. Sounds like a pretty good racing program.
Yes.
For both lanes, to be honest.
Very much so, and I dare say, following Joshua's father's Facebook page, they're probably one of the most comfortable racers down there in the pits with the unveiling a brand new trailer. Of course, Road Warrior Trailers, Jason's business, and the quality and workmanship. Yeah, the quality and workmanship of what Jason and his team are able to produce. They look absolutely amazing.
So if you are looking for a racer, or you're looking at getting into racing, and you want to do it the right way, why don't you get in touch with the guys at Road Warrior Trailers?
Exactly right, Pat. A 005 on the tree for McNamara. I think that's going to put him at the top of the qualifying list for the time being. I'll put it this way, at worst he can be fifth.
Exactly. Well, now you've said that, we're going to get about 8 004s. No, I think there's a good chance that he's going to be at the pointy end there. Georgia lifting in the Aeroflow lane, of course, Speedflow products on board. And we've got Tegan Smith, another very, very fierce competitor down here in the Junior Dragsters. I believe she has jumped up into the AA category. Got a 775 on the back of the car there. So AA Junior Dragsters, pushing, correct me if I'm wrong, down to 750, I believe, in the AA.
I want to say 60.
60.
760,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Although we did look in the US, didn't we?
We did, but it was further again.
It was
almost down to
690s, I think it was,
yeah.
and limited to like 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, no, a hoot at the in the 8th mile. Like, I don't know, even as an adult, I don't think if I could even fit into one of those, want to be in something that small doing 100.
Yes, you would. You would want to be in something that. You say that now, sitting up here. I reckon it would be an absolute blast, mate. I remembered the fun that I had doing like 55 mile an hour back all those years ago. To be able to do nearly double that speed with your backside yay high off the ground would certainly be a buzz, I reckon. Tegan Smith, an 030 light there for the APM and Power Cruise car, runs on through for a 773 with a 0.84 mile an hour for the top end, and 854 with a 2 at 76 mile an hour for lifting in the Speedflow Products car.
It's actually really impressive, that 773 from Tegan there. The short track time wasn't, like it wasn't wild. It was in the 1.6s, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it's still, it's not the 150 that we have seen out of some of these tracks. But then to still continue to head on to the 773 at 84 miles an hour.
Well, I think what a lot of these races do, because the bigger engines are still capable of running quicker than what our sanctioning body says you can't run quicker than this time, right? So they put extra weight in the car, or they change the gearing. So of course the gearing is going to make it lazier off the start line, but it's going to come home big time at the other end of the racetrack.
That's
which in dial your own makes it hard for the slower competitor. If you're chasing someone, having that speed differentiation makes it so much more difficult to determine whether the racer, of course, is going to come on around you. Edith Maggs in the rocket lane takes the reaction time there with an 0.64, runs on through for a 13.0 at 45 mile an hour. And Taylor Smith in the aeroflow lane gets away with a 2.35 light. And unfortunately, the time disappearing off the screen. But
7.9.
Was it?
I think so.
Yeah, nice.
So very good. But as you're saying, Bushy, with the dial your own, you know, having extra horsepower, it's not always. So it makes it difficult for the person that's chasing to track that car down. But also, if you're the one that's out in front by a margin, and you're running to a dialing, you sort of have to go, well, this feels really good, and I want to keep my foot buried into it. But you run the risk of breaking out as well.
Exactly right, and that's where it makes it hard if you're being chased with a car with a big speed differentiation. You think, oh, I've got, you can hear them coming, but of course you can't do anything about it other than, I guess, making them need to stay in the throttle to come around.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a two-way street, of course, but we see many races, and I'm sure we'll see several here today be decided by a few thousandths of a second, and of course that's only the thickness of a tyre in one of these cars at the speeds that they're travelling. Alex Rottenbury down there from Picton for Hunter Race Engines, MLJ Constructions, and Brian Scruffy down there as well. Alex did really well for himself in the NDRC rounds of last year. Going a few rounds at the season finals there at Sedan.
Through the 8th mile, 7.78 with a 7 at 83.8 miles per hour. Yet again, pushing into that 7-second zone with the AA category. Great to see. You know, a little bit of the magic was taken away when I found out that Scruffy was Brian Scruffy down there. When I first started commentating and I saw that Alex was sponsored by Scruffy, I was really hoping it was like the dog. Everyone, a lot of kids have got their nan and their pop and their mum and dad and back with mum and all that sort of thing. I was just hoping that the dog was really, he was there.
Moral support. Moral support. Yes, very much so. Of course, I heard one of the races. Look at that
great vision.
Nice close vision there that we're getting up here in the commentary box of the B-block wheels on board Jeffrey Benif's Junior Dragster, like a Pro-Star wheel.
Yeah, that is unreal.
On both lanes.
Got the B-block with 3-spoke design, bit more retro. The guys at Glenline are doing a great job. They've come on board with the streamers on TV, so great to have them on board with those great roving shots that are down there, seeing all of the action from different points today.
And of course, Glenline probably, I'm not speaking out of school here, probably more accustomed with the circuit racing side of things. So they're learning the sport a little bit as well. Of course, what works for angles and bits and pieces. So definitely looking forward to seeing what the end product is that we will see, and of course it'll improve throughout each of the rounds here this year.
I've got a feeling the guys on the cameras might really enjoy drag racing because they only have to move one way now.
That's it.
They don't have to go back and forth.
And spin right around.
A great look. We can see Savannah Lucci down there. You can see Dom, her dad, getting it into stage. We've got Aubrey Maggs, another Road Warrior Trailers competitor down there on board with Speedway Performance Products and Atlantic Oils with their racing program. Lucci Civil, of course, and the Naughty Boys backing up Savannah Lucci in the aeroflow lane.
I thought for a second there Lucci's car had a bit of an issue with the throttle not coming back to zero. The idle RPM came right up. Mag waiting patiently in stage there. Making the trek up from Wallen in Victoria.
Savannah in the C Junior Dragster, and in the B. So more than likely see Aubrey get away from Savannah, but they are different categories, so don't forget this is not heads up, this is qualifying.
Yes. 28 cars in Junior Dragster entered here this weekend. low 34 on the tree for Aubrey. Nice reaction time. We'll definitely get the finish line. 9:24 with a 4. 56 miles an hour.
It's pretty respectable for the B Junior Dragster category. Aubrey's pass there.
Yeah, good pass for her. Also for Savannah, runs through for a 12:41 with a 3. 51 miles an hour.
Yep.
Wondering if Mags was out of the throttle early to only run 56 miles mile an hour, nearly 3 seconds quicker than the Lucci car.
That's right, but still in that 920 range.
Yes.
So, yeah. Really came on strong in the sort of the mid-track point. Okay, next pairing, Robbie Rostevsky, B Junior Dragster from Queanbeyan, CA Motorsports, on board his Pinnacle Dragster. And then we've got Emma Leifting from Oxley Island up north in New South Wales. Speedflow Products, of course, on board. It's got the Raptor 210 power. C Junior Dragster for Emma Leifting. Really good to see. Really good to see all those cars down in the over on the burnout pad, basically staging before they return to the pits.
Yes.
Got all of the Speedflow crew down there.
That's because
come in force.
That's because there's 5 cars and they've only got 2 tow cars.
Yes. No, but I think it's just a great way to show the brand, show support. Yes. You know, out there. It's a real professional way that they've gone along. Robert Rostevsky 150 on the reaction. Emma just going red 052. Rostevsky goes through for an 8.877 at 71 miles per hour. 12.27 at 51 for Emma. It's a bit more representative for the B Junior Dragster for Rostevsky.
Yeah. All right, looks like we've got Johnny Lucci down there as a solo for this round of qualifying. Just running for Lucci Civil and also Naughty Boys from Menangle in New South Wales, down City South.
It's a little bit cranky, that.
Straight down the center lane, runs on through for a 9.14 with a 0.72 miles an hour through the top end. Seemed like a pretty clean pass there for Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been chipping away. The Lucci family they were every round last year,
Yes,
I think. From
pretty
memory.
much, yeah.
Dom brings a Commodore out every now and again as well. He's got a beautiful VK that's basically a show car.
He's got a couple of really nice
He
cars.
does have a couple of nice cars.
and surprisingly, they're all fast.
Yeah, yeah. Or very smoky.
Yeah.
He's got quite a stout burnout car as well. Look at that. Up close with.
Oh, I forgot about the burnout car.
Future. Yeah, light them up.
The
orange
HZ,
I think
yeah.
it is, yeah. Look, it's got a GTS front
Yes,
on it, I think.
yeah.
Future stars of drag racing down here in the limelight, thanks to Glen Line. Good to see our racers down there. What a great looking car. It's got moonshine on the side of it, obviously moon products.
I haven't seen that January before, but
I believe it is a licensing car.
we've got Alexis Addar down there on the start line, stepping into Ben's car, so hence that's why Ben was in a new one.
Yep. This will be licensing starting from scratch.
Yep.
For Alexis here.
ITF hire, low fabrications, road tilt towing.
What? So says that she hadn't raced that car.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, you know, it sort of looks the same. You take the panels off and put it on.
Yeah.
Still says speed float outside.
True.
Sorry.
True. Well, of course, Alexis doing what she needs to do. I think a 60-foot launch there, knowing full well that this car has been well sorted. It's not like it's a new build. It's just a new car to Alexis. So we still need to obviously go through the licensing procedure.
This is the great thing about a local track championships. The juniors get all this cool exposure.
Yes.
You know, we get the time to get them on screen. You know, they can go run the category, reasonable pace, not have to get brushed or bumped with the. As much as we all love national drag racing, of course,
Yes.
that's what we're all here for at the end of the day. The junior categories and the sportsman categories obviously, have a little bit of a time crush, or they get rushed through a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think that in terms of trying to, at the bigger events, trying to make time up, that's spent in other areas. Where of course, at a local race meeting like today, being the track champs, it is more for sportsmen races as a whole. Not just juniors.
That's right, because juniors are sportsman racing. Because that's the thing, unfortunately, a lot of people don't know juniors. Everyone's got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
And if you're not supportive of someone being able to start in drag racing at such a young age, well, let's get behind it.
So another new name to the junior racing category. This is Thomas Dawson from Dominica, which is up Tamworth way, I believe. Armidale.
Out near Armidale, Looks like he's rolled through there.
Junior Dragster open to kids 8 to 17 years of age. Had a couple of juniors age out the end of last season. One of those will be on a modified bike here today. So wasted no time in getting onto another machine.
No. That's exactly right. We'll see if he still does burnouts the same way.
Well, I've been discussing someone's race, and they might hear me down there because he's coming up in junior drag bike. Apparently he's got a new tyre. He's been granted a new tyre, so yeah. All right, we've got Liam O'Neill back again for another pass. So we've got the Dawson machine here. Making his way down the remainder of the Aerofoil lane. Of course, the junior dragsters run to 8th mile and then past the finish line. First gate. Of course, most of these cars are running on a methanol fuel, which I think aids a lot in performance coming from it. I've seen both cars race. I've raced both cars, both races. I've raced with both fuel types, and there we go. Finally got there. The methanol so much better.
Well, that's right. It's colder than fuel as well.
Yes.
So the engine is not stable.
Yes.
They have to put a lot more timing into it. You can have a high static compression ratio. There. Bigger bang, more power, more fun.
And run cooler. I mean, okay, creates a little bit more maintenance in there. The flush the fuel system and replacing oil a little bit more often. But of course, these things only hold half a litre, ish of oil. It's not a massive amount of oil.
Like 1 5 or 6 litre jug, right?
Depends on the race. Certainly, as opposed to a conventional line one race meter, two.
It's so good.
Speaking from experience there, I bet.
Yep. The transmission flush with Redline.
Yes.
ATF. Great product, amazing. But
it hurt. It hurt putting it in the.
Take it out again. And anyway. It's like I'm complaining about having to go racing.
Well, it sounds like it.
All right, Benjamin Attard back in the lanes again. Another solo pass here.
Just quickly, we saw Liam O'Neill run through for an 8.90 there, so picked up half a second in the space of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So definitely probably much where he would like to be performance-wise.
A bit of I can't say that I noticed it the first pass, but there was a lot of flex in that chassis.
Which car?
Okay. After he did the little, his little test here.
Yes.
Down the chassis had a little bit of a flex in it. So I wonder if they're just playing with some
adjustment
like
there.
some chassis tuning to get the car to bite a bit harder out of the hole.
Not 100% sure what the hold-up is here. The track is clear from what we can see up here, Pat. Your eyes are better than mine.
Yeah, marginally, mate, but I can see there's a bit of movement going on down here. The juniors exit. Looks like it's just about to get clear. But yeah, check out that if you're watching on the live stream, check out that body, the Attard Family Racing ITF backed package down there. What an unreal looking combination.
Yeah, the black, grey, and
bit of
carbon look on the insert. Yeah, looking very flash. Of course, all these cars running a remote starter, which is what the gentleman's doing there with the white shirt on. Has the starter motor connected to a battery, turns the engine over, and then hit the ignition switch, and all things going to plan, it fires up.
Of course, the only one small downside of running this front, right? Sometimes you're not always real happy about restarting.
Shot there of the centrifugal clutch. Of course, they don't have a clutch pedal. There's a belt in behind those two sheaves, and what happens is the one, as the car goes down the racetrack, one at the front will come up on the sheave, and the back will push down into the centre, and effectively what that does is it changes the gearing as the car runs down the racetrack.
Sort of like CBC.
Yes, very much.
Road cars, but using a lot of support.
Basically run spring tension to get stalled. So some of these, I noticed a lot of drivers don't necessarily stall cars up back on the wings. It's harder to hold it down the brake. You bring the thing up to like $5,000 or sort of smoke pouring off the belt. Don't do that, mate. No, most cars seem to just go up to idle and
yeah, I think that's clean launch from Benjamin Attard there as we did the last pass on that before we jump into speed for junior drag bike. I think that says a lot for the engine technology now. You know, they're just making a lot more torque at lower RPM. And running the methanol fuel allows that.
And I guess too, also that makes the launch a lot more consistent too, because you're not trying to worry about creeping it forward.
Yep. That's it. All right, into Speedflow Performance Products Junior Drag Bike. Lincoln Delios, the B Junior Drag Bike in the Aeroflow lane.
Yes, he was our runner-up in the 2024 Track Championship Series.
Very consistent racer. Consistent with turning up and putting on a good show. We've got Adam Jordan down there in the A Junior Drag Bike in the Rocket Lane. Managed fuel delivery systems on board with his Kawasaki Ninja.
Yeah, good to see Adam and the team back here at Sydney Dragway. He is incredibly busy with motorsport, this young fellow. He's either here or at a racetrack somewhere around the country pretty much every weekend, and gets away with an 077 red light. That runs on through for a 9:55 with a 0.73 miles an hour at the top end of the racetrack. And Lincoln, unfortunately, no time recorded there for Lincoln. I dare say left before the tree was activated. So a 9:55 with a 0.73 miles an hour.
We'll get that one out of the way now for Lincoln, and then you can come back next round and show us what he's made of.
Good morning, Team Jordan.
How dare they? Good to see Anastasia Lucky down there in the rocket lane. 666 Racing Customs back on board. Anastasia was here, I believe, at every last year. So back again.
This new drag bike, a relatively new initiative for IHRA here in Australia, and a fantastic way to go racing. If you have an interest in motorcycles and drag racing, this is probably one of the most cost-effective ways to get into the sport. 975 with the 72 miles an hour at the top end of the racetrack. Of course, the bikes that these kids are racing are like learner legal for the road, right? So you can buy a road bike.
Yep.
You ride a motorcycle.
Yep.
So when your daughter is old enough, you can buy one of these machines and go, I'm going to ride that to work, and then come the weekend, here's the keys.
I could just throw the keys. That's right.
Here's the keys. Off you go.
What's even better is you can get a bike that is relatively modern, and you'll probably be able to find one at, say, an auction house or something like that. Maybe it's been down the road a little bit, or maybe a learner has dropped a bike. They're selling it now. They're upgrading or something like that. You can get one that needs a couple of fairings on it. Who cares if the light's broken?
Yeah.
Don't need those here.
No.
You know, and you can get into it for a really cheap price point, like less than $5,000.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, the other advantage too is, Pat, the running costs. We're not talking methanol fuel or anything like that. They fairly cheap to run as well. So a fantastic way to get into the sport for not a lot of money. And of course, it looks like we're just about to finish packing up the finish line safety equipment here at Sydney Dragway. We're about to move into our next category, and that is, of course, Go Logistics Super Sedan. And we're kicking it off with Sean Sabello and Simon Bonello. That's going to...
Sean Sabello and Simon Bonello. Let's say that.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun final round at some point.
It's great to see both races back out again. We've been used to seeing Sean in that sort of mid-90s LS-powered Commodore. Been chipping away at that tune-up. Simon Bonello, I think towards the second half of last year, debuted this car. It's got a big 2-valve Clevo in it, built by RPM Racing.
That's the silver Falcon.
The silver one, yeah.
Very pretty
NSW.
car.
Beautiful car. It's got, I think, centerline wheels on it.
Yes.
It's very period correct.
Yes.
And sticking with the 2V, the Clevo is, it's Steve's down there. Steve from RPM's down there. He's just going to have a bit of a dry smoke on his face with how much power this thing makes, to be honest. With 2V, so it's certainly.
But you can be like that when you know. When you when you know you've got it, you've got it. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So wait until you hear this thing sing.
All right. So Sean Sabello in the airplane lane. Simon Pinello in the rocket lane. Side by side burnouts.
Very stout. Once again, a big thank you to Go Logistics for stepping up, not only being a track sponsor, but getting behind this great category, which is Super Sedan. Another really well supported category with plenty of exciting street-like cars, I guess you would say.
Another strong field, as you say, Pat. 23 cars entered here today.
Bella has the pre-stage light on. Bonello is moving in now. 017 light. Very clean. Unfortunately for Bella, had a bit of an issue not long after the 60-foot mark there. The car has come to a halt rather quickly. Bonello has run through 7.42 at 142 miles per hour.
Just around the 240, 230 k's an hour roughly.
I was going to say 215 something. Yeah. Let's refer to Google, and we can take the bragging rights afterwards. Pushing. But, if you can see on the live stream, we've got a great shot of the bush rat down there waiting in before pre-stage. That's a good looking Camaro.
It is a very cool Camaro. Small block Chevy on board for Andrew Little down there. All the way from Forbes. Had a good chat with Andrew, his wife and daughter last night.
Yep. Yeah, I think Sean... Oh, no, it looks like it's moving again. That's good. Maybe had some sort of transmission or differential issue there. Track looks clean, which is very considerate of him.
The car usually pretty well sorted, so not quite sure.
Oh, it's made thousands of laps down here at Sydney Dragway, so might just be one of those unfortunate component failures. But with a name like Sorbello, pretty safe to say that he'll be back in short time. Next pairing, as we mentioned, will be Andrew Little in the Bushrat Camaro. It's got 350 Chev on board, and certainly a crowd and racer favourite alike. Chevy Taylor in the bubble top Chevy. Down there, he's got Tilly Motorsport spares, Taylor Marine exhaust, BK race engines, and ProTrans automatics on board. The bubble top.
Yeah, we talk about cars that have done plenty of passes. That's another one.
Oh yeah.
It's shared in a fair amount of success as well.
Absolutely. Great looking car. Bit of a handful when it comes off the line. Trying to hike the front tyres up in the air.
It's funny those the big American Chevy two-doors, when they launch it, they do twist up a fair bit, don't they?
There's all sorts of things going on under there. All right. So we're happy to move along with the next one. We've got the recovery quad down there to get Sean back into the pit so he can have a look at what's going on. And we'll move into our next pairing of qualification.
Big burnout from Chevy Taylor down there in the rocket lane.
Be breaking some new tyres down there, or just felt like it?
Yeah, if not, just felt like it. Because he could.
Yep. Why not? That's half the reason we're here.
That's it.
I reckon.
Sounds like we do have a rotary down here in Super Sedan in the next pair.
Good to see. Get Little and Chevy Taylor coming up to the staging lights.
I was talking to Andrew last night about travel times, and he said it's about 5 hours from where he is in Forbes to Sydney Dragway or thereabouts. So it's quite a commitment for the team, and they were here every round last year.
Not that we want to miss Andrew in any way, shape or form, but that's a great reason why we
Chevy Taylor, 977 with a 3, 136 miles an hour for Little with a 103 light. Chevy Taylor goes red, an 030 and a 1029 with a 5 across the finish line.
Very nice. Adam Hunter in the Aeroplane lane in that Falcon. As we were mentioning before, it's one of those sort of XD-EF combinations. I think that's an F.
Yes,
yep.
Correct, yep.
On that one. Really tidy car as well. We'll pass that down to the pits today. Really tidy, really consistent. It's a spicy engine, 450 litre on board. But what we should mention as well is Daniel Bridger down there. All the Foxy Solutions.
Side by side with that Falcon across the finish line, and Rotary will take it a 9,666 at 136 mile an hour to a 971 at 139 miles an hour out of the Falcon.
002 red for the aeroflow lane, so really chasing it on that one. And just as we were talking about not seeing many rotaries, we've got another one. Steve Domek, SDR Motorsport. Great to see him back out in the car himself.
Yeah, I sometimes if the wind's blowing the right way, I hear these guys dyno tuning the cars. Just hear it off in the background. That's a Rotary.
Yep.
Unmistakable.
Great to see Steve, and also great to see Victor Satlagianis back here. Lifts the wheel, shows Steve Dimmock the way. Steve's just taking his time getting the RH2 up onto the full Satlagianis going through for a 942 with an 8 at 142 mile per hour, a 967 with a 4 at 151.9 miles per hour for Dimmock.
Yeah, wow.
In the aeroflow lane.
Big speed.
Yeah, if they can get that up on the two-step a little bit quicker, that's going to be an interesting car to watch all day. Ant Lynch, new with the Lynch Building Group, the VK Commodore with a 427 Chevy on board, and Michael. I'm going to apologise to Michael. Michael Velashwich is the way that I'm going to pronounce it.
I would have gone with something very similar. Yeah.
Which is with that awesome 3.
How nice is it? Candy red. You can't go wrong with candy red.
Pretty hard to see.
Yeah.
But when it's got a rubber under the back of it, a big scoop on the front.
And the roof's about as high as your chest is.
Yeah.
Or lower. It's certainly a good combination.
It's a great combo. Rebars out the back. Let's see.
It's funny, you know, there's so many different cars that are very popular.
Big from Ant Lynch in the
screen. I've looked over at the aeroflow lane, and the lines leave the start line, get 100 feet out, and just go, I'm going over here.
Got a bit of ZZ Top logo going on. 892 at 149 for the Rocket Lane. It was a 002 red, unfortunately, but yeah, a little bit for Ant Lynch to figure out maybe on that car. Might have had a little bit too much on the launch. Another couple of interesting pairings down here, talking about small, low roof lines. Cowie into the Mighty Boy. Cowie's time back combination with I've got two cubes in that tiny little Mighty Boy, and then Rex Webster, who also has a tiny little Austin A40 Ute with 540
built around the engine this one.
Yeah.
Actually, both cars probably built around the engine. 955 with a 6, 141 miles an hour for Webster in the aeroflow lane. 921 with a 7, 145 will get it from Cowie in the Mighty Boy.
Very nice pass from Cowie in that Mighty Boy. Very well behaved today.
It is very well behaved, although the body is somewhat stock. It has been massaged a little bit in the wheelbase, but we're still talking quite a small car. It doesn't matter how you put it.
I think it only just qualifies in the regulations, to be honest. All right, Paul Spatino, great to see him back. Used to work with him over at Rocket Industries. Great to see him out here with the Toronto. He's got that nitrous combination on board. And Joe Zammit, a little red, which is a bit out of the norm for him. 141.60. He's going to run on through for 864 with a 146 mile per hour, spraying the house down the whole way. 10:33 at 129 for Joe Zammit in the 383 Cowie Commodore. I absolutely love this. I think it's XT Falcon in the aeroflow lane. I think that's is that not Jim Raptors? No.
VLR or something.
VLR, sorry.
Bang in the center.
Steering it, shifting it, he's doing it all.
He's done the mirror of the and Lynch's Commodore, pretty much identical, but in the opposite direction. 006 on the tree, we missed that. And
at 143 mile per hour. You reckon, Billy, those
does, and I reckon that guy knows how to drive too. That would have all been one-handed as well.
Yeah, maybe he's got 3 hands to keep that thing going on, I reckon. There are 2 hands on the wheel there and then grabbing gears at the same time. Talk about entertaining. Super Sedan is a great category. David Gruber in the little LJ over in the Rocket Lane. There, good to see him back again. Caribbean Engine Services, LIT Consulting and Specialised Towing. Now, I don't have data on this. We've got another Capri down here. Let me see if I've got some.
A very nice Capri pack was out at the Wednesday night and looked absolutely fantastic.
Paul Papacosta, gentleman's name, I believe, 440 litre. It's got Go Logistics on board there as well. And yes, I apologise, that was Peter Bergalaris with Go Logistics in the XT Falcon. There really wasn't a combination. But yeah, really nice that the Capri, Paul Papacosta.
Of course, that information will be entered into our system, hopefully for round number 2 of qualifying. Next up, we have current Australian champion Sean Maher in the HB Tirana for Samary's race engines, taking on Lou Colombo over there in the Rocket Lane. These two know how to battle it out on the drag strip.
They certainly do, and that Colombo's huge. He's got the nitrous flowing. It is a big beast.
Doesn't look like he's got the nitrous on there. The
Yeah,
class
I can't see the
designation
bottom
is double SA, which tells us it's only naturally aspirated. And I can't see the sticker on the back window.
Yeah, I can
Is
see.
there?
There is still.
Oh yeah, it is too. It's just in a shadow at the minute, and my eyes aren't so good. Nice was up launch for Maher. Leads with a 007 reaction time straight down the center, as you'd expect from the HB. And Colombo not too far behind with a 960, 141 mile an hour, but a 926 with a 143.
Great run. Right, Aeroflow, Jim Naro chassis. He brought this container out midway through last year.
It was put away for a little while, but this car's done.
Oh, it's on
Gazillion passes here at Sydney Dragway. Very, very well sorted. 363 cube wins are on board. A tough racer and a really nice guy.
Absolutely. Jason Field in Rocket Lane, of course, for roofing. Down there in the Ford Telstar. Not often you'll mention Telstar at the drag strip.
No, and you wouldn't have mentioned his previous car either, which was a Ford Pilot.
Close on the 60. Chasing, and he will get there first. 879 at 155. So great mile per hour out of that Telstar.
Yeah.
937 with a 1 at 145.
They did run nitrous on the Pilot. Couldn't see the designation. Looking for the AA at the end of his class designation there. I was just wondering if that was the reason behind the big mile an hour, perhaps. But
yeah, you would normally associate that.
Emma Addard on the start line now in the Rocket Lane. St Mary's engines. There's a very nice little LC Tirana. Start line, I was going to say she's usually very tough on the tree. Runs on through for an 892 with an 8.
There he is, Michael Bennett.
There you go.
Certainly following form with,
cool.
with that 58 Chev Apache. How cool is that? Gasser style. Peculiar Sunrise. Of course, on board. 632 cubic inch of Chevy's finest.
Bolted to a block of flats.
Yeah.
that's running the straight axle just to improve aero even more.
Yeah, exactly
but,
right.
But how cool.
All style, no curve.
Yeah.
Let's put the moon tank front and
the
back.
size of those tyres.
Yeah, it's
massive. Very wide and very tall. The ET Gasser wheels on the front, I think they are.
As you said, it does look like a block of flats, but it's an empty block of flats.
Yes.
No tenants.
Oh, there's one.
Well, just one.
Just one, and he's got a big smile on his face.
100%.
Doesn't care about the living.
Big steer to the left and a lot of tyre shake.
Oh, it's
on
still
that front
shaking
axle.
quite.
Ooh.
I can see it under the car. Actually,
Yeah,
like the
it's
rear.
still going. It's
Oh.
still carrying on now. So it needs to just ease the speed down and let that axle come back under control. Yeah, which is going to be fine. Obviously, first pass in a new car. So Michael will go back and they'll have a look at the front end of that thing and make sure that everything's tight where it's supposed to be, and maybe make sure track looks like it's still under power. Yeah, still.
Yes, there must be a very unnerving experience.
Oh my goodness.
To do that.
Yeah.
I guess it comes down to the geometry of the geometry of the front end, with everything being, I suppose, so long, so extended. A small movement at one end creates a big movement at the other, and then
That's right.
the
And as you
harmonic
said,
start.
It's a fixed axle there as
Yes.
well, so there's no articulation between the left and the right.
Yeah.
So whatever happens on the left is going to happen on the right in some sort of way. I'm all for people doing what it is that they love, and like gas carbon tools.
Don't get me wrong, Pat. That will work.
Yeah.
It just
They
might
have to
need
figure
some
it out.
adjustment. That's all.
Maybe a bit faster. They might need to push that axle forward a little bit more. They might need to adjust some toe settings.
You've got to remember, back in the 60s and 70s, that was what everybody did, wasn't it?
That's all there was.
Just sitting back in the water box, and Luke Romeo down there on the start line. Touch Automotive, awesome Burston Auto Parts at Norella, and BP Race Fuels. Amanda running for A Civil in the LX Tirana.
Want a group of racers that probably know each other back and front, as far as from a competitor's point of view, and their category back and front. Supergas is pretty much the one that is for.
Yeah, very much so, Pat. And I think they all help. Come on. Out in front at the moment, and he'll take the stripe. 9.99 with a 4. Of course, 9.9 is what they're looking for. 146 miles an hour and a 10.06 with a 5. 150 mile an hour for Romeo in the rock zone.
Yeah, lucky to get that back. Guys, I just want to make an announcement here at the track. If you are at the track, we've got a couple of vehicles parked in the emergency lane down near staging. We have a red VZ Commodore, I believe it is, RIV 57L number plates, a red VZ Commodore, RIV 57L. We need you to move your car. We also have another SsangYong Ute with 01 Plummet as your number plate. Great number plate, guys, but we need your cars in a different spot. You are blocking access for emergency vehicles in the staging lane. So please, yet again, that is a red Commodore RIV 57L and a white SsangYong Ute 01. Please move your car immediately out of the emergency lane. Thank you very much.
Down the rocket lane right now, leads with a 006 reaction time and runs on through for a 9.97 with a 3. 156 mile an hour. Very nice pass there for Roy in the 27 Ford Roadster.
Just wanted to show everyone how it's done.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. Exactly what he did.
All right, and it looks like is this going to be Mod Bike, brought to you by
Yes.
bikereview.com.au?
Correct.
I one. I hope that was on like just a combination. Like the business is called obviously Bike Review, but the way that it rolls off the tongue, bikereview.com.au.
Yeah.
It just works perfectly.
Completely intentional.
Absolutely.
They've been a supporter of a modified bike since the track's inception here, 21 years. So that's a fantastic effort from bikereview.com.
Michael Riches, very familiar. Down here, Team Digger Racing on the Hayabusa. He's got SRR on board, and also Jesse Barnes.
This is a replay of the championship, right?
It is. Yeah.
Riches took the runner-up spot in the airflow lane, and your two-time winner in the rocket lane. 0.34 Riches, a 2:34 for Barnes on the start line. Riches with the performance advantage. Pat, and will run through for an 8.98 with a 6 at 147 miles an hour.
Great mile per hour for Jesse Barnes, just not quite getting him on, but not coming out of the line like he normally does. And I remember, I think last year, it wasn't the last round, so I couldn't make it to the last round, but the one before lost out, I think he came running up. He was guilty with himself, not getting out of the hole that whole round. So I hope he's really working on that, because the dude is a super keen racer.
He is, and a young fellow too.
Yep.
So with every pass he gained more experience.
Yep.
And seems quite humble about his the way about he goes about his racing, which is good. Robert Simmons and Greg Horridham doing battle. Horridham gets there first, a 9.91 with a 6, 144 mile an hour.
Really nice reaction time from Simmons on the Hayabusa in the aeroplane in 0.81, which is no easy task on a big bike. Similar to having a big car, like we saw Greyhound earlier in the Big Bel Air. You know, you're just not going to have, or you're very rarely going to have a really good reaction time because there's so much to move.
Yes.
And equally on a bike, the longer the wheelbase and whatnot, it's difficult to get them away. Really quickly. So an 081 is really nice. We've got Gareth Wilcox down here, another Team Digger member. He's on the ZX14R. He's got the YouTube channel, Gareth Wilcox 7964 YouTube channel. He's riding the Spook. Here's Kawasaki down there. And a shout out to Doctors Without Borders. We've also got Alicia Harrison down here in the Aeroflow lane. Looks like a little bit of figuring out to be done down there on the GSX.
Alicia was here last week or the week before. Came out at the Aeroflow. Getting away from the start line, not too badly. Both races went well, but they're getting into at the top end of the racetrack. And
10.20 with a 7 at 131 in the Aeroflow lane, a 10.034 at 139.
And a 10.03, 139 mile an hour in the Rocket Lane, as you say, Pat. One of the races in Mod Bike here today, in his acceptance speech last night, thanked his father for being a friend, his best mate, obviously his father for all he does, for being an investor in his motorcycle. I thought that was such a
number one investor, right?
Such a good spin on saying
the bank of dad
no, he's an investor. He's got shares.
Yeah.
He's got shares. The dividends is not so good though.
Jeff Weigel in the Rocket Lane. He will get there first at 10.08 with an 8 at 141 with Kawasaki, and Juliet Stewart away from me. Next pairing, we've got Lucas Nego, the Maltese Express, the GSXR 1000, up against Mark Davies, also on a Suzuki GSXR 1000.
It seemed to be a pretty common weapon of choice in mod bike.
Pretty hard to go wrong.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see someone just like really, put it all on the line and just for the entertainment value. All right, Nego there with a slight red. He's going across for a 9.56 with a 144. Mark Davies, 0.28, really nice reaction time. 9.40 with a 5 at 143 mile per hour. This This round of mod bike, I think, is going to be pretty tightly contested.
I think so. The category is building each year out, and the racing getting better and better as well. On the track now, our current track championship winner, our current NDRC winner, is Sean Ricketts from Castle Hill, racing for Heavy Duty Magazine. He's on the Kawasaki ZX 12R, it's the 1200.
I love the number plate as well. He's got on the back there, ICBN.
I wouldn't have picked that. Sean, very, very humble in his acceptance speech last night, and a terrific guy to boot.
Yep. Super consistent racer, knows his equipment back to front. All right, here we go. He's pretty true to form. Josh Burtonshaw, he's jumped up from junior drag bike. He's here in mod bike. Pretty decent burnout. Not exactly what he was doing on the juniors.
Well, I'm wondering if he's had practice somewhere.
Might have had a little bit of practice somewhere. Mum and Dad might have also said, hey, find a tyre sponsor before you go and do those burnouts again.
Leaving nicely, goes 118 on the tree.
Pretty easy on letting the clutch out on that one. So, but this will be licensing, I believe,
I'd imagine so.
For this, so he's just got to get it down the track, which is great. So good to see Josh continuing on his racing career.
And rolls on through for an 1190 at only 75 mile an hour. Get that one under his belt, of course. Rides on the road now too, so getting experience there as well.
That's right. Good thing is he doesn't have to really look left or right too much.
No, no. Unless it's over his shoulder.
Street bike? Yep, street bike in the next category. All the RPM on board with that. Oh, I think it's Yamaha down there in the rocket lane. Just got our timing system rebooting up here, so we have got all the data at hand. Alright, great pairing. Here we got Ross Vanderhoek on the classic Z900 Kawasaki. And then Adrian Watson on the Yamaha R6. The R6 has all of the RPM on board. Kawasaki Z900, a bit of a revelation back when it was first released. Great classic bike. It goes through for a 1452 at 99 mile per hour. The R6 at 1080 at 128 mile per hour. Really shows you the performance of relatively modern street bikes. 600 cc's running at 1080.
Yeah. I guess that's the scary thing, as you say, out of the box. Most motorcycles are quicker than what you'd want to ride on the road by a long way.
Certainly.
But also they're getting a lot more technology in them, as you say, with rider aids and anti-wheelie type arrangements and traction control and all that sort of stuff. Just watching.
I got my wish. Colin Northcote's got Educated Diablo down there. I used to have one of those. That was actually the bike that I sold that Pepper Money helped out.
All right.
So there you go. I had one of them. Awesome bike. Looks like the Batmobile bike.
Yes.
Everyone would pull up. If I was filling up fuel anywhere, people would pull up and go, "Man, who built that bike? That looks unreal." It looks like a custom bike.
Yes.
Just out of the factory. Unreal. Super cool. Bit of a handful though. So
it's got a big rear tyre on it.
240 rear
tall
tyre.
and wide.
Yeah.
So Ronald Guild out in front, I think, from the Ducati at the moment, and will probably take the win. But the Duke, an 11.51 with a 7, 130 mile an hour, very closely matched actually, about 2/10, nearly all the way down. The bikes together, pretty much side by side.
Nice quick shifter action happening on the Diablo there. You could hear that popping through with that beautiful L twin engine. Testa stretta, as they call it. 1198 cc on those, so big, torquey, big bang style engine. Just yapped about while Mick was cruising stage on the Harley Davidson, the Walkie 8 Superglide down there. They call those big bang engines because they fire just after each other, the 2 cylinders. Rather than completely opposite. So, really interesting sound. That's where they get that sound.
1180 for Withers on the Harley Davidson, 115 miles an hour.
All right, that will be street bike, and then we're going to jump into Street Fighter.
That we will.
The 4-wheel variation.
Starting off versus battle. Danny Stadelmeyer in the AU Falcon. He was our runner-up in this category for last season.
Manually shifted.
Yep, by the way. So go one step further. 018 on the tree.
Pedro Tallarico down there in the rocket lane in the Commodore. The mighty AU Falcon rides again.
There's no beating these things. 13.93 with a 1 at 97 mile an hour to a 14.88. I don't know where I got 11 from.
If it did run an 11 in a manually shifted, naturally aspirated 4-litre AU, you could go on. I think there's a Facebook page called AU Falcons doing amazing things.
I don't know where 11 came from.
Yeah,
and it's not even midday.
All right, Steve Hurstler is out here in the SSV Ute. I can't say I've seen him in the category before, so welcome. And then Guy Greenland in the Scrapyard wagon, not the wagon that we're used to seeing Guy Greenland run.
This is the twin.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's trying to make it really difficult for us.
The V6 twin, yeah.
It looks the same.
Well, SVZ, I'm thinking that's going to be a VZ wagon, whereas the other one is a VX, I believe.
Okay. Right.
And there's no distinct supercharging one.
Yeah, we don't get that until half track.
Yeah, that's right. So next pairing, Sean Dartnell back out in the mighty I-30, and Nicholas Varillas in the XR6. You'd be surprised at how tightly contested this category is. 0-4 the reaction time for Dartnell, 0-3-5 for Varillas.
Again, no driver's aids in any of these cars. It's all done with the brain and the foot. And Varillas runs on through for a 15.0 at 92 mile an hour.
You know what though, Bushy, we're probably not too far away from Street Fighter having vehicles that could qualify that may have some sort of factory driver control. That's going to be interesting. Like, I mean, if you just have like a Golf, a Golf GTR, and you put your foot on the brake and accelerate at the same time.
Yes. But you still got to release it though. 007 for Glenn Featherston in the rocket lane. Christopher Varillas in the G6 in the airflow lane. He goes an 068 side by side down the racetrack. Varillas will take the win. 15.02 at 93 mile an hour.
Okay. As we speak about it, we've got a little Fiat 500 R-Bar down.
I think he'd probably be a car in Australia.
I can't see that closely from here. I haven't got the details. R-Bar 695. That is, you would be surprised at how expensive that car is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Jake Mellon down there in the DKCJ Logistics R-Bar 695. It's a little turbo 1.4 litre. He's leading the way currently for Michael Zara in the, I think that's the Statesman, isn't it?
Yes.
Michael Zara. 15.32 with a 4 at 90 miles per hour. 16.184 at 86.
So just to give you an idea, the Abbott there went 10-0 to the 8th mile.
Yep.
Just as a comparison to some of the other categories.
Down on the Arbo?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, not at all. But it gives you a real insight into junior game.
Yes, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that's the unmistakable rumble of modified Eliminator. Of course, brought to us by a platinum powder coating for this season. Peter Brown in the airflow lane, running for Sims Integrated Solutions, BK Race Engines, ProTrans, RaceMax Direct. He's in the gold dragster down there in the airflow lane, taking on Lee Hartle-Law in the Prestige Air and Electrical Ford Roadster. Of course, in the rocket lane.
A synonymous name with Sydney Dragway, the Hartle-Law family. Plenty of racing happening with these guys. Well sorted combination there. These roads
Yeah, definitely both cars done plenty of passes.
Great start line footage there of the Hartle-Law Roadster in the rocket lane. Big thanks to Glenline TV for providing these new angles and features to the stream. Here comes that little Fiat back down on the turn road for you. That's a funky little car.
It is a funky little car, especially with gold rims. Is that a factory set of wheels?
Couldn't tell you, but that 695 designation is like sort of a super fancy version of them. So there was one, and I only know this because of general knowledge. I'm not a fan. Oh, 017 and 017 both races there. God, only separated by 200ths on the 60 as well.
Yeah,
tied together the whole way down. Looks like Peter Brown will get the first 771 there, 176 to an 817. Something like $80,000. That same shoebox little car. But, you know, slap the Ferrari badge on there. 20 grand.
Yeah, that's right. There's a premium. It had to be red as well. I'm guessing.
That's right. I think red or yellow maybe you might have gotten. So, yeah.
Well, they're either fairly popular colours with Ferraris.
Yeah, that's the only two you can choose, really.
Yeah.
All right, next pairing up, some serious races modified here. Jess Turner in the ETS Race Fuels Dragster. Cabinet Auto Parts, Dominator Converters, Denso Sparkler Tickets, Raceheads, PT, HB, and Wildy. And Tickets, Raceheads once again on that program. And then CJ Davies. Right, CJ 015 to the stripe first, 786 with a 3 at 165 miles per hour and 834 at 160 miles per hour for CJ, which is pretty good miles per hour.
Top on the racetrack for a front engine car.
Hear the thunder of some big rock Chevys in those dragsters down there. Chelsea Smith in the Erica Lane. Adrian Hartley, Rocket Lane, Pro Street Towing and Transport. ETS Race Fuels, Wild Race Mates.
on the tree for Adriana Carlton in the rocket lane. Out in front of Chelsea Smith, runs on through for a 7:08 with a 5, 189 mile an hour for Cartledge, also close to a 6-second pass there, and a 7:64 with a 4.
Very, very good. Great to see George Rushliev back out here. See the man behind race Greg. So APD Carbs, Ride Tool Racing MCN on board. His combination, still qualified front engine dragster with the 365 cube LS engine. Certainly punching well above its weight all last year. Didn't running for a championship, but this category is so tightly contested that it doesn't take much just to miss out.
That's exactly right, Pat, as we can hear. Doesn't sound like a big box here idling away below us, does it?
No.
But, of course, that's Brooke Rapazada down there in that very nice another front engine drag. So I paused because it didn't sound, it was, what was that?
Yeah.
But Brooke Bukareshvili going into a pre-stage. It's looking for an O light on the Christmas tree. 023. Car launching forever nicely. 118 to the 60. This thing only 365 cubes of LS and runs on through for a 798 with a 7. 169 miles an hour.
169 miles per hour is, I think, I've been waiting I'm pretty sure that running a low 160 mile per hour range last year. 169 is, they had a slightly tweaked combination. Still basically the same sort of cube and everything, but a different combination. Maybe in the last round last year.
Well, I have noticed that place where you buy a whole heap of stuff that you don't need that's linked to social media. He's got his motor on Marketplace, so I don't know which one that is, whether it's the one you just mentioned or a previous one.
I think it was the previous one.
He's currently selling.
Yeah, I did speak to him last year, and he had a new one coming, but I don't know when he started running. So either last year. Look at this great shot on the screen from the rocket lane.
Down low.
Carlton down there. Swell Industries running the dragster. Aptly named Underfed. He's got three German. He's got Rapazada there. VP Racers on board.
003 on the tree for Carlton. Puts him way up the top of the tree with qualifying 8:31 with a 0, 161 Rapazada in the aeroplane lane there, though. But a 003 on the tree for Carlton.
Ellie Stewart in the rocket lane coming up. Next pass, 5831. I want to try and find who this racer is. Modified 5831.
Is that Lou?
I don't have it on my list, unfortunately.
In the rocket lane we have Alison Stewart. Of course, running for LA Lubricants, Jeff's Racing, Scorpion Racewear, Denaro Chassis, and Crackle Pipe Photography.
.003 red on the light for racer in the aeroflow lane. Goes through for a 787 with a 5 at 168. 771 with 2 at 173 for pass there. Then move on to Daniel McCaskill, Mark 1 Welding, NSW Dragster. That's 555 cubic inch Chevy block. Torquay Hotel on board their program. And then Gary Darrington with 202, Holden 202 powered front engine dragster. So it makes a great sound, this thing.
Because the car's so light, you can get away with not making bulk horsepower that say McCaskill's car is making. But the Darrington machine, a little bit of a different take. The front engine 6-cylinder dragster were very popular back in the day, and this car has punched well above its weight at many times.
Absolutely. Funnily enough, there's quite a few of these whole supercars running seriously dragway on a regular basis. So there we go. We've got in free stage. Darrington in stage. 061 to an 053 reaction time. 108.60 from McCaskill in the airflow lane. Really nice pass. 741 with a 4 at 181 miles per hour. 13 and 129. Speaking of another 202 powered, excuse me, 205 on this one.
Have a go at the inlet manifold though on it.
Look at that, platinum powder coating.
Cameraman did it right at the right time there.
Perfect.
Perfect timing. And this little car, I think, manually shifted, I think, the way it launches. Watch the front end will come up. Lots of RPM on board. And from Ashfield is Mark Tanswell. Great
little race car. When I say little, it is. You can actually see on the street there up close. Mark Tanswell's shoehorned into the back of that.
Run on through 765 with a 9, 173 mile an hour to a 938 with a 1, 141 mile an hour for Tanswell. Looking at it points now, don't
one round last year there was 3 front engine races, and definitely one of them was family issues because of the, not that there's much front end on it, but it was not. Harrison Fletcher in the airflow lane. Daniel Moore in the rocket lane. Flowers and Gibbs on there on the Bantam. Installations on radar.com and with ACT and super coating. And then it's great to see platinum powder coating jumping on board with this modified bracket. Out here, a big thank you again to the sponsors for getting involved with the racing. We're at Sydney Dragway. 025 to a 006 from Moore.
Order so far in a modified Eliminator and a 795 with a 2, 164 mile an hour for Daniel Moore.
That is an impressive little package. 396, so a small big block, I would assume, or it could be a. I didn't see the but not all of the
that's a big speed.
Yeah.
Looks like we're moving into top Sportsman pack. We have Leo Georges in the Flying Carrot for Rocky Lamartina and Sons.
Burnout from Anthony Curry there in the rocket lane.
Yes, we've witnessed some pretty good skids out there from Anthony Curry in this RX2.
I wonder if it's a John Force fan. Maybe. He likes a big skid.
I think he does it because he can.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's what he should do.
Just looking at the setup of the rear end, those wing bars way up in the air. If he hits them wing bars, he's going to be seeing sky.
It's going to be making it. Flying Carrot forward. Station beams. We are moved over to Crossfield. Rowley's wants to fly at Kingsville. Great to see this season. Oh, a big turn right. The Carrot, he's just hugging that centre line. He's going to fight it away from the centre line. Has to back out of it. Curry with a relatively clean pass. 036 reaction time for him. An 834 with a 5 at 171 mile per hour. Georges rolls through a 10.37 with a 2 at 93. Man, he really wanted a good look at that centre line. Yeah. I guess he's been away for a couple of months.
I'm surprised because normally when you're that far over, all the thing wants to do is talk towards the centre. In the middle of the racetrack, you can probably see on the cameras there that the concrete right on the centre of the lane is all but bare. So that means there's no traction there, there's no rubber. And what happens is most of these cars are all running a locked diff. So one wheel will get traction. That in that case would be the left-hand wheel. And that's the car then wants to turn around to the right, which would further force you in the direction that you don't want.
Another couple of stout burnouts down here for Bošković, of course. Everyone's favourite XA group down there. Combination. Way out. Wait for the dry hop. Clutch. Didn't want a car to translate drag racing into a visual form. This is one of them. The excitement. Plenty of power. We've got a great, I guess we've got a nice alternative, I guess, in the rock lane to power pretty well. Further power. I've seen that car before.
Nice wheels up launch there from Bošković. The car moved over to the wall. In the top gear now and building a lead. 8-1-1 with a 165 miles an hour. Went a 157 reaction time. Hardest over there in the rocket. 198 on the 3. 872 with a 0 across the finish line.
So there's plenty more in that Hardest car as well. A little bit harder, but first qualifying run of the day. That's all we need to do. Then we're going to continue on in the top Sportsman class, brought to you by Mixed Metal Roofing. Brad Key in the Holden Run with 618 cubic inches of general spare. Automotive button on board. And Nathan Cooper in Holden Gemini with a 267 cubic inch small block Chevy.
I don't think Cooper's car's running down there at the moment, Pat. It looks absolutely splendid in the morning sun here at Sydney Dragway.
Great
early model Gemini, and of course has the big injector hat sticking out the bonnet too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
003 red that big 600 cube Chevy. Crosses through for an 862 with a 7 at 154 mile per hour. Yeah, real shame for the Rocket Lane. Great looking Gemini. Hopefully the guys can get that figured out and get it back out for the next round. It's wept a little bit of fluid down on the start line. So
yeah, I think maybe just a bit of fluid out of a line or something like that. Perhaps
could be a breather or something along those lines.
It's been a pretty relatively trouble-free start off to. I know.
Let's just skim over it.
I'm new here, all right? Of course, I hope everybody's enjoying the action. Those up in the stands here at Sydney Dragway here this morning. Also, those watching us via our YouTube link.
Yeah, we've got some great new footage, great style of coverage coming through from the Blendline TV guys. Just gives a new dimension to the stream.
Yes.
I mean, the guys here at Sydney Dragway have done a great job over the years with what it is that they've got to work with. But these guys from Blendline, they really know how to translate the action that's happening down on the track and with the crews. As you can see, that little T-bucket making its way back down the return road. Just go for a Sunday drive, Saturday drive as it was today.
Yes. Of course, that is the beauty of drag racing, isn't it, Pat? There's so many different combinations. You might have the same car as somebody else, for example, but there's nobody out in the pits with exactly the same car as you. They're all different in many ways.
Right.
Different combinations, different class designations, if you want it. There's plenty of opportunity to express your individuality here in drag racing and build a car the way that you want to build it, and then fit into a class, hopefully in a category that you're competitive with. And the beauty of it is it's not all about being the quickest and the fastest. Like all of our categories here today are qualified on reaction times, as we get some close-ups of that gorgeous early model Gemini, unfortunately being pushed away.
It's a great looking car.
It is a good looking car.
I should just use this opportunity also. We've got a new prize, the best package spot prize for this year, 2025 New South Wales Track Championships here at Sydney Dragway. So basically, I'll read it verbatim. Starting in 2025, Sydney Dragway will be offering a spot prize for the best package during the first round of eliminations at every event. The rules are as follows. The prize is open to every DYO bracket. The prize will be awarded, let's dial your own bracket, I should mention. The prize will be awarded to the racer with the best combined reaction time and closest to dial-in or index of an individual run. The prize will only be awarded during the first round of eliminations format, or the first round of racing in a Chicago shootout format. A racer is not required to win their race to be eligible. Any run where the racer has either red lighted, committed a boundary infraction or broken out will not be eligible. And this prize is $300, which will be paid out post-event. So that's a nice little bonus that the racers can try and aim for. So as you said, you don't need to be the fastest, and you don't need to be the winner either.
So that prize could go to someone in Street Fighter, or someone in Top Sportsman, or someone in Junior Dragster even.
Yep.
So it just gives a little bit of more recognition of having a consistent package down there, as we see
Lisa Sargent.
Good inside shots of Elisa Sargent's. What's she driving now? Camaro, yes.
Jared Bickle Camaro.
Yes.
600 cube data. I like it.
Sorry to be a little bit slow there, because I knew that she stepped up and I couldn't remember what car it was that she'd stepped into. So, both the Sargents definitely are moving forward in their racing programs.
It's the Catfish Camaro. That body style.
Oh yes.
It's down there. So very cool car, and being out of the Bickle stable, it's probably got some pretty nice bar work in there, I dare say. But
well, we know that it's been built to the highest of standards, of course. So Jerry Bickle known for producing a very nice product. Here at Sydney Dragway, it looks like we're just running the tyres over the start line area in both lanes at the minute.
just give the track a little tidy up before we continue on with Top Sportsman.
There we go. Perfect timing, Pat.
Very good. Yep. Big fan. City Dragway track crew turning everything around like the miracle workers that they are. And really nice to see a bit of appreciation being shown to the crew from the races as well. A bit earlier. Cold beverage was provided, yes. Alright, Owen James down here in this Super Clean Fortina. Now, we saw this a couple of times last year, and you feel like you remember whose car that may have been at some point.
It's Joe Polito's, one of
Joe
Joe's Polito's.
Great with that 427, but geez, you know about that 600 cube dart engine in Lisa Sargent's Camaro, don't you?
Very different engine models, the size of the power plants sounding completely different.
Yep. Yeah, that's very well suited package. I think there was a few teething sort of things and some learning happened last year.
The car has been somewhat dormant for a little while.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yep.
you're starting me. You
Yeah,
know.
that's right. Suspension arms and things like that going, oh, I remember what we had to put up with before. Yeah. Oh, I feel bad for them sometimes. Eliminator there, but he's going to lead the way so far. Cortina on James goes through at 878 with an 8 at 153. And 926 will sit at 160 mile per hour for Sedan. 056. 087. Commodore down there.
It was Joe Sorbello doing what he enjoys.
Is that Joe?
Yeah. Aboard the white Commodore in the rocket lane.
Not to be outdone, Pete Hamilton down there in that beautiful vacationer VH Commodore wagon.
Of course, running for Perfection Automotive, the nitrous-fed wagon. Now, we have, from the commentary box on a number of occasions, seen the front edge of the bonnet on this car. That's how high the fronts come up.
We're very familiar with how clean the roof is.
Yes. But I do believe he shifted a little bit of weight around to try and limit that. What a killjoy.
Yeah.
What a killjoy. But
it's
never
working.
mind, it's a lot more consistent and a lot safer. This format pops the chutes right on the finish line and runs through for an 8:42 with a 158 miles an hour. No 31 on the tree. Sabella got off with an 066 reaction time, so he's pretty chuffed with that.
Still there. I think they're just starting to lean into that tune-up in those cars.
And another one of our cars going through their burnout procedure, and that is Brett O'Connor from Lead Dilo for Jay's Custom Fabrications.
636 block of action. With just a light sprinkle, shall we say.
I don't know how many kids are on board, but the car looking really, really nice down there on the racing surface. Brett, no stranger to City Dragway, of course. Runs this car and then stepped it up a couple of seasons ago. Street Fighter. Still the nitrous burst there on the start line for O'Connor. Of course, the idea of that is making sure that all the air bubbles are out of the lines, and that power plant fed nothing but nitrous oxide and fuel.
And water pressure to be correct. So a lot of the guys will run heat up models to get the bit of an odd maybe transport. So let the nitrous system just chill for this pass.
Yep.
Oh, actually, still 175.
Still 175 mile an hour, so no stranger to horsepower at the top end of the racetrack.
Maybe only one.
Yeah, maybe. It just didn't seem to want to leave the start line in its fashion that that he would normally be accustomed to. I'm sure the team will sort that out for the next round.
From what I can see down there, I think we're about to hear some supercharged engines fire up.
That's exactly right. We can hear them turning over for oil pressure. We are about to move into a boosted Outlaws, and we have Sean Leafting and Anthony Bull will be the first pairing out in qualifying session, round number 1.
Sean Leafting in the T-bucket, altered. He's got that Noonan 465 engine combination. Really stout. Bit of kit, beautiful engine.
Tell you what happened, they've been churning out some pretty fancy gear over there.
Oh yeah. Not to be intimidated, it's Anthony Bull over there in the rocket lane. That's another leading blue. Boosted Windsor, I believe. Shire Performance Engines and Machining. Shire Automotive and Mechanical on board with the guys up from Bangor. quite a good field. First round of the Dragway. Well, hard. Step, but managed to keep it in the beams, so he will get a pass at 687 with a 157. Obviously out of the early 771. Will in the rocket lane.
It sounded like one of those cars had a very slight pop at about 1,000 foot. I could hear it on the track mics, and our City Dragway track crew just checking out the lanes.
Wouldn't surprise me if it was the leading car actually. Quite low on mile per hour, given the ET. 680 at only 150. I think it was well out of the gas for quite a while. Right. Curtis Reed and Meyer Dragster, the Keith Black 500 cube motor. Down here, familiar surname, a couple of familiar faces down there. Around that dragster, I would say.
Yeah, looking like the car's received a coat of paint in the off-season.
Yeah.
Now running a blue livery.
Yeah, and also Pete Byrne down there. So big thanks out to John Gauci. In his Bantam Altered, that also looks like it's got a different look on it. Pete Byrne's car, I think, has changed a little bit, hasn't it?
Pretty aggressive looking Altered though, with that fairly big nose cone to try and aid the aero as the car build speed towards the top end. Of course, the Alters have typically want to do what they want to do, so trying to give a little bit of control back to the driver.
The steering wheel's kind of a token gesture, really, isn't it?
Point and shoot. Point and shoot. So it sounded like we had a little bit of starter motor action there, unless I can't see anything happening on the racing surface.
No, but I believe the Reed car fired up. Nice dedication to Joe Gatt out there, the buzzard on the Burn Altered.
That includes shifter cables, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shifting to gear.
Yep, little quick break there as we're about to get some more tyre smoke happening from the AFT Plumbing Services My Dragster in the Aeroflow lane. We just had a little wildlife break down here at Sydney Dragway. Skippy visited briefly, but just wanted to check the track conditions, and then he's made his way on.
Yeah, he's happy and he's made his way back.
Good. So you guys have done a great job here. I'll continue on the way. Go back to it. So Curtis Reed in the Aeroflow lane, Peter Byrne in the Rocket lane. Series competitors here. We've got Black 500 cube dragster. BAE by Anderson Engineering. 511 in the rocket lane, with all of the boosts being forced down on top of them.
I wonder what sort of boost these cars are running, Pat. Did you have any idea on that?
Well, I mean, I could take a big guess, but there's so many variables when it comes to a boosted engine. You know, I mean, it might have more compression in it, it might have less compression in it. And you run a different pulley. I would just throw a number out there of probably 30, somewhere in that range, but I could be wildly wrong as well. So either way, it's working. Already pushed us from the ground.
3 for 2 steps for quite a while coming into stage. Pulls the chutes early, still runs a 697 with a 159 mile an hour, but Reed takes the win light there with a 676 with a 205 mile an hour. So you can see how much speed those parachutes took off Burns' car at the finish line.
I would almost say that Pete may have seen something that he didn't quite like on the dash in that car, because that's I think he was out of it before the chutes came out, to be honest, and he is a pretty seasoned campaigner, so Pete will have his eyes. I think he might be able to separate both eyes at the same time, one on the dashboard and one in front of him.
I do that too.
It's
not by choice.
Why am I laughing? Come on, mate.
I don't know. I left the door open there. But yeah, definitely all your senses need to be about you when you drive these cars. Of course, 205 mile an hour there for Reed. That's 320 odd kilometres an hour.
Yep. Pushing almost 330. Yeah.
And of course, you go from there to a rapid deacceleration as well. Yep.
Talk about a change of pace. Looks like we've got Josh Lay down there in the boosted Outlaw. Obviously, his normal gig, I guess you would say, if you could call it that, is driving a nitro funny car. He's down in backdraft today.
Of course, we can see Josh there. Nice close-up camera work from the Blendline TV of the exhaust there, and the injector and the big supercharger on top of that. On top of the Hemi power plant. Lay no stranger to driving these front-engine cars with the motor right in his face, but of course, probably a little bit more aero in the Nitro Funny car that he's normally driving, of course, for Aeroflow. But certainly the Fiat, a wild ride for Josh. Taking on Jeff Sargent in the Murray Anderson built Chevy Camaro for Grant's Performance. Sargent's taking a step up to the car in the rocket lane, the end of last season. Seeing that Lay out of there in the Fiat Topolino.
How cool is that Camaro as well, Jeff Sargent? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to go wrong with a Topolino.
Well, I think the car lends itself very much to this style of racing. You know, you can stretch it out, get the wheelbase a little bit more driver friendly, give you a little bit more time to react, of course, and makes the car a little bit more stable at speed. Because of course, the Fiat's, I'm sure John will be able to tell me what the original Fiat wheelbase was. Yeah, only 96 or 98 inch, obviously between the centre line to centre line. Lay's car, I dare say, has been stretched probably 20 inches or 30 inches, if not more, and obviously punching a lot more horsepower than what the original Fiat would have been.
Yeah, I don't think the original designers of the Topolino had anything like this in mind.
No, definitely not. Looks like, unfortunately, Jeffrey Sargent's being pushed back, Patrick.
That's a shame. It's a shame. It's a really cool car.
As I said before, only new to the combination, so maybe a couple of small issues there.
Yeah, might be some teething issues, or just, sometimes when you get into a new combination, there might be sort of a start line procedure, or some switches that you need to switch and you forget to switch them and it doesn't work. Just Lay gets away pretty nicely, but pretty hard. Whoa, in the deep end of the track.
I think we all took a breath simultaneously there.
Yeah.
Big step to the towards the wall at about 1,000 foot there for Lay.
After a few pedals, he rolls through for a 770. Another cool car that's a little bit outside the ordinary is coming up now in the airflow lane. Ray Fairfield in the EL Falcon. Don't see too many ELs down in the lanes, particularly in boosted Outlaws. Fairfield at one point was running a 6-cylinder, if I remember correctly, for quite a long time, but he stepped into the small block 400 cube Ford engine with a healthy dose of the Lord's gas, I guess you would say, nitrous. Plenty of assistance coming up down here, and then we've got Zach Palm down in the rocket lane. He's brought his dragster down from Queensland. He's quite often to be found at the Rocket race car shop, crewing on the funny cars.
Yes.
So he's one of the mechanics down there, one of the techs down there. If I remember correctly, he's the bottom end man. So he's that wild guy that jumps under those cars after they come back from a pass and just decides to pull the pan off it.
Yep. Everything hot.
Everything a million degrees.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, certainly committed, but it's great to see him down here in Sydney racing his dragster, because he used to have to go back up to Queensland, where his family's from, to race. So yeah, he's got plenty of knowledge down there. His girlfriend Danny. A little short, sharp burnout for the bowling dragster.
Two very different ways to go. Boosted Outlaw racing right here. Exactly what this class was designed to do. Pitch dragster versus sedan. Altered versus funny car, if you like. There's virtually no end to it. Just has to be a boosted power plant.
Yep. It can be aspirated boost, being a supercharger or a turbocharger, and also chemical supercharging, being nitrous.
Nitrous oxide, of course.
Yep. A bit of a purge there from Ray. Quick adjustment on the wheelie bars.
I'm waiting patiently over there in the rocket lane. One of our viewers on the stream nicknamed Ray Fairfield's car Elmo. Elmo the EL.
Yep. I think it's actually got a number plate on the front bumper.
Oh,
With Elmo. So they've certainly adopted it. Glad to see Elmo out here. I guess Elmo, Giggles, Superman Elmo, Giggle Gas, Nitrous. It all works. Bit of a red light for Zach Palm and a lot of wheel spin from Fairfield. That's the one. No 2.8 reaction time though. Palm goes through for a 7:37 at 1:88. So I think from memory, first time racing here for Zach. Certainly in the dragster down here at Sydney Dragway. So he's got that one out of the way. He'll go back and have a look at some data. He'll go back, download his brain and work out that start time, and the guys in the Fairfield camp will figure out how much or how little they need to take out of that launch.
Yeah, it looked like it just went instantly into tyre shake and smoke there, Pat. So hopefully the team can make that adjustment. Just while we've got this fraction of quiet time, can I have a car move that is blocking a racer in the pits? If you own a black Ford Ranger with the number plate P for Patrick, M for Mary, 428. I believe your car is blocking someone in their pit bay. So a black Ford Ranger with the number plate PM428. Would you please move that vehicle?
Awesome. As we wait for that previous pair to make their way around to the return road, as you can see, more familiar faces down there from Aeroflow Funny Car Team, or Aeroflow and Rocket Industries race car shop. We've got Gareth Rogers here now in his Bantam Altered. It's got the 521 Cube Hammer on board. brilliant looking bit of kit down there. Last year, Gareth spent a bit of time just getting his head around the whole combination. They upgraded the supercharger, went from a 671 to I believe it's a 1471 supercharger now. So a slight upgrade there.
That's not a step, that's a leap.
Yeah, that's a big jump. You can see his wife, Brooke, crew chief, down there out in front near the start line, of course. Helping out with the tune-up. So really interested to see how the crew have got their head around this car, because it was certainly a handful in the big end when they put that big supercharger on there. A solo pass for Gareth. So while Gareth and Brooke were getting their heads around race cars last year, they're also getting their heads around a new addition to the family. Their firstborn arrived last year, so certainly had their hands full. Life in general, between work, family, and a bit of fun. So yeah, nice pass here. Makes it all worth it. Bit of but nice track wall inspection for Gary down the deep end there. It's an 086 reaction time of 113.60. He's crossed for a 685 with an 8 at 202 miles per hour, which puts him in second position so far for the category. And that will bring a close, I believe. No, we've got one more car down there. We've got Doug Willard down there in the little Anglia. So Atlantic Oils, Concept Paint, Craig's Automatics, Torque Calibration Services, All-Star Tow Hire, Dominator Racing Conversions, and Peter Mitchison Engineering. I believe this is a licensing pass for Doug, or a familiarisation pass. Aussie Outlaw has been here before, and it's travelled to the UK, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and
Centerpod
did very, very well over in the UK. Had the world record for the fastest Anglia down the quarter mile. Of course, there's John Millard at the front, the car constructor and previous pilot. And this is what you got to do to fit a Hemi in an Anglia.
Have half of it coming out the front.
You can see there to get the starter on that supercharger. The top edge of the nose is on a hinge, on a. No, it's not on a hinge anymore. It's got Zeus clips on it. It used to be on a hinge, and then the magneto sticks out the side of the bonnet. Because these cars only had like an 8 horsepower side valve in them originally. Hemi and 6 seconds and 220 mile an hour were not in the designer's ideas.
No, but I love the way that the pipes come out on top of each other in the guard there as well. So there's a great bit of fabrication that's gone on. Well, there's a lot of fabrication that's gone on to get this combination together. But the BAE Hemi just not really agreeing with getting fired up this morning. It's got out the wrong side of the bed by the looks of things. Boys will get everything reset and figured out, make sure it's not.
It's firing, but then stopping straight away.
So it's not getting enough fuel delivery or something. We're obviously just wildly guessing up here.
Looks like the plug has come off the starter there. Crew will probably take it back to the pits and reassess, find out what's going on there.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, the crew's been around, they've run world records.
Yep.
They're familiar with this combination. So they'll go back and figure out exactly what's happening. Why she's a bit cranky, and then they'll bring it out a bit later on. It is a licensing pass for Doug out here, so got a couple more.
What a baptism of fire, I tell you.
Yeah. All right, so we've had an all-rocket Narrowflow affair in the Boosted Outlaws category today. We've got one more, Stephen Brown, better known as Wombi.
Well, there's no one working at the shop today.
No, absolutely. I think GC might be there tapping his foot. Maybe. Oh, where is everyone? But it's great to see Wombi down here in his own car. The bloke works like an absolute demon on the funny cars. Drives the trucks, the transporters, gets them around. Yeah, he loves a bit of nitro. But we'll see him down here. See him down here in the Light Horse Altered. Has been a while. I did speak to him briefly when he was getting set up this morning. I said, you'll be right, mate. Yeah. He goes, I'm quietly S-ing myself.
Well, I think that's a very natural appearance, of course. This sounding a little bit different to the other cars that we've just had. Wombi running nitro methane in this Altered on this pass. You can hear that unmistakable burble out the exhaust pipes.
With that crackle.
This nitro Altered is not something we see a lot of here at Sydney Dragway.
Not too many people brave enough to drive. That's the issue. The biggest issue is the way one sees the real thing. I guess perks of the job though, doing what he does, you sort of know someone that knows someone.
Yeah, and I think if he's got a question, I'm sure that it gets answered properly. Not, I think that's what's wrong with it. But they would, I'd imagine that they would have a knowledgeable answer.
Exactly. A great crew down there. We've got Morris McMillan, as you can see. We've got Spud on the other side. Brennan. We've got Jamie and Marie, looks like, behind the car. I think I can see Brennan Goswell down there, who's obviously a big fan of Wombi, or Dad, as you know, in the shop.
Rolled into full stage there. Bit of a step around at half track there, Pat, and shoots out early. And we'll roll on through.
Yeah, not too bad. I did say to him that I wouldn't talk him up too much, but maybe I talked him up too much. But he's going all right. Good old Wombi. Good to see him make a lick. Crew will get that back out there and get it all figured out. And that will be the end of Boosted Outlaws category, and we're going to move into Extreme Bike for the next round. Just double checking there wasn't one of those new amazing sponsors on board with this category.
We can see there on camera we have Deanne as a party on right of screen, and Alex Borg.
Yeah, great to see Deanne back on the bike as well. She had sort of a bit of a I don't know, a relearn curve last year.
Yes, well, very much so. She did take home a couple of trophies at the awards dinner last night, so definitely the changes lent themselves to her racing style.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll see that continued improvement.
Absolutely.
In her racing. And I mean, Alex Borg, I mean, this man's one of the quickest on extreme bikes here in the country. The bike has been settled down a fair bit on the start line, and I think that's certainly contributing to the quicker ET and the faster speeds that we're seeing out of it.
Absolutely. The mile per hour that this bike has run previously has been ridiculous. So it's one thing to do it in a car when you've got a cage around you, but to be sitting on top of these things, with an absolute missile strapped between your legs, it's it takes some mental fortification, I think is probably the way that we'll put it.
Well, we can see there one of the big things with extreme bikes is they don't run any sort of wheelie bar, so they extend the rear
swing arm,
swing arm on the bike to try and get a little bit more rideability off the start line and allow you to apply that power quicker. And of course, the more horsepower you apply and the quicker you can apply it, the quicker you'll run at the top end of the racetrack.
Yep.
The big thing with a lot of extreme bikes, they don't run the wheelie bar. So the wheelie bar is the I'll use the word insurance on a motorcycle, that you can leave the start line at quite high RPM.
Yep.
Let go of the clutch and then just come back on the wheelie bar. I say this as I've ridden motorcycles all my life.
Well, vastly experienced.
Yeah, 100%.
No,
but
am
I wrong?
You're spot on. No,
Oh,
you're
no.
spot on, mate. It's basically, the extended swing arm is trying to take the place of the wheelie bar. It basically increases that fulcrum point.
Yeah.
It makes the wheelbase a lot longer, so the weight of the engine is further forward, and it means that as it's trying to lift the front of the bike, there's a bigger lever for it to happen. So rather than having a stop, which would be the wheelie bar, you're just basically relying on that lever, and then you've got power management, things like that when it comes to delivering that power to get it away.
Which I think has been one of the big improvements in drag racing overall is the way that the tuners can now manage where the power comes in, either through boost or through like ignition timing.
Fuel, all of those things.
All of those things now can be monitored and changed. It's not just, I've got this jet in the carbine and that's right.
Yep. Or, even in regards to turbos, red light from Alex Borg, 005, but he's still going to make one hell of a pass. There is some mile per hour on board with that bike.
Wow.
215.9 miles per hour. It's a 698 with a 9. Down as a party, crosses through for an 858 at 163 mile per hour, so something not quite 100% for her.
Yeah, Borg was running 170 mile an hour at
half track. Isn't that insane? I haven't even done 170 mile per hour at all, ever.
Make it happen, Pat. Make it happen.
Yeah, I should rephrase it. I have done that, but just not at the racetrack. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, when it comes to turbos, wastegate control, the engine management systems now, you can build a boost curve into it, so you might still run the same amount of boost, the total peak PSI, but it's not going to come all at once. You can ramp it in, you can bleed a little bit off, you can bring it on harder. There's so many different options. As you see Matthew Hunt in the Aeroflot Lane on ZX10 up against Ryan Franks, who is a fierce competitor and has taken home many trophies. He's going to cross through for a 780 with a 5 at 164 mile per hour to a 985 at 141 for Hunt in the Aeroflot Lane.
Yeah, Hunt running a new combination, of course, stepping up from mod biking this season, now running in the nitrous oxide.
Yep.
As the power adder.
Very interesting. Not sure whether he was running the nitrous on that pass. At 141 mile per hour, I'd probably say no. Being a leader bike with nitrous, I'd expect more than that. Most of the leader bikes, later model leader bikes, anywhere from 1 litre to 1400 are going to run 140 without breaking a sweat. So it might have just been a feeling out pass for the first one. We've got Mike Lawson, DY in the Rocket Lane. There's a quick high booster out here as it steps a big way to the left. I don't have the data on the racer in the Aeroflot Lane. Unfortunately, it crosses through for a 9.53 with a 5 at 153. Lawson will roll through a 13.27 at 102. Alright, Brant Gilliver down here on the Suzuki. He's got that different style of bike, that more traditional style with the wheelie bars and the slick tyre, or the squared tyre. As you can see, quick nitrous purge for the combination. Gill was a regular here last season and many before that. Just moving into stage now for the first pass of the day for Grant Gilliver. Ooh, big backfire. Looks like a bit of timing not quite right, but wild ride for Gilliver as he goes on down the pass there. The bike wanted to lift the wheel, get him through half track. 9:51 at 158 mile per hour. Probably the most difficult way that he's ever had to run a 9:58.
Yeah, didn't want to shift, didn't want to launch.
No.
It's a little bit messy for Brand, but I'm sure he'll get onto that.
He'll get around it. I dare say some changes, some upgrades maybe on that bike as well. David Franks down here on the Suzuki Hayabusa.
Funny, Pat, the low-down angles that we're seeing on the stream are completely different to what you and I are actually looking at from up here.
Changed it so much. It's so cool to be able to see the cars and the bikes up close. Nice and easy launch for David Franks there. 145 on the 60. And the Hayabusa is going across for a 933 at 114 mile per hour off the gas, nice and early. Well, Bushy, as we get back around into Power Plus Fuels Super Street for the next round, I think I might hand over to a familiar voice, your friend and mine, JB John Smorach. Hand it over. I'll be right back later.
All right, Pat. Thank you very much for your efforts this morning. Moving into
Thanks, Pat. Hey, Bushy.
Good morning, John. How are you this morning?
Pretty good.
Of course, JB up in the box here today with Pat and myself on commentary. We're moving in to a Super Comp.
Yeah.
And Arthur Savolis in the VN Commodore down there in the aeroflow lane.
And Peter Mamone in the Mustang in BAP class. Sponsored by Corona Brothers Restorations, and it's a 347 small block Ford in Peter's car.
Yeah, the Corona Brothers Restoration workshop been around a long time, John.
A long time, yeah.
You're familiar with their work?
Yep. Painted a lot of race cars over the years.
Savolis running a B modified street automatic. The Holden power plant on board for Shire Performance engines. Dan Best carburetors. Just waiting on Mamone to move into full stage. We can see his top white light on into full now. That second white light comes on. Savolis leaving the red light. And Mamone will take the win here. Runs on through for a 7.53 with a 181 miles an hour.
And Arthur with a 13.72 at 57 mile an hour, so I dare say he had some problems.
Car not wanting to launch, didn't seem to want to launch properly off the start line. Our next pair of cars rolling forward, and we're going to see Kit Hunter in that gorgeous VL Calais.
And Adam Nooner in the Double D SC Mazda, the 13B turbo rotary. Adam from Denham Court in New South Wales, sponsored by Uni Group Engineering and SDR Motorsport.
Strong burnouts from both competitors. Hunter running for Hunter Engineering and Perfection Automotive, and of course PPG Paints.
Very pretty car, Kid Hunters. I think it's the ex-Robbie Beecham show car.
I think so, which
many years ago won Summernats.
Summernats Grand Champion many years ago.
Yep.
Still looking absolutely fantastic down there in the sunlight of Sydney Dragway.
Yeah, I think it was a well built car. Bill Jones back in the day.
He's a name I haven't heard for a long time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bill's retired. Don't quote me.
We've seen, pretty sure Kit's cars run into the 6-second zone. His index is a 720 with a record of 688.
And Aiden's index is a 750 and the record's 750. So it's probably a minimum.
Yeah, Noonan running the manual transmission. Hunter with the automatic. Noonan's car's just bogged down on the hit. Nice launch for Hunter. Looks like he clicked it just past half track. And we'll roll on through for a 919 with a 9 at only 93 mile an hour, John.
Yep, definitely clicked it.
Yep.
And Aden with a 908 at 162 mile an hour.
Yeah, I dare say there's a little bit left in that Mazda if you can get the launch.
Yeah, the launch was a little bit messy, but they can fix that. All right, now we're into Super Street. Which is now sponsored by Power Plus Fuels.
Exactly right, John. And of course, Power Plus, fantastic to see their ongoing investment in grassroots motorsport, not only now sponsoring a category, but also supporting many of the cars and competitors within that category as well. We have Blaine Bull down there in the XD Falcon for Shire Automotive. He's in the airflow lane, taking on Alan Stevenson, supported by Power Plus Race Fuels in the HB Tirana. 017 red on the tree for Bull, an 042 green for Stevenson. The Falcon is out and gone. We'll get the finish line first. 11.15 with the 0. 119 miles an hour.
And 11.63 for Allen in the Rocket Lane, 118 mile an hour.
Next up, we'll see Lachlan McCaskill down there in the Mark 1 Welding VF Commodore. LS3 on board for him in the airflow lane.
The Racer McCaskill family.
Yes.
Everybody races. In the right lane, Sammy Joe Johnson in the Commodore.
Running for RVO Performance, Diff Technics, Rosso Performance.
Nice 043 light for Lachlan and a 140 light for Sammy Joe.
Sammy Joe with the horsepower though, an 1185 with his 4 at 112 mile an hour.
And a 14.877 for Lachlan. Now we have Adam Bowes in the airflow lane. I believe Adam was our track champion last year in Super Street.
Yes, did very well for himself. Took home the silverware last night, or the hardware, I should say.
Yep. And then we've got Mark the Elf Elboran in the Rocket Lane. Another Power Plus sponsored car.
Very even off the start line for these two competitors. Only 3,000s off the start. Bowes will get the win, 11.15 at 130 mile an hour.
And Mark with a 12.804, 103 mile an hour. Geez, they go through fast, the Super Street guys,
Yep.
don't they?
Yeah, no messing about.
Philip Armstrong in the airflow lane in the Commodore, and Brett Stutchbury in another Commodore in the Rocket Lane.
Yes, Stutchbury definitely a busy guy down there in the pits today. .082 on the tree for Armstrong.
And a 117 for Brett.
Stutchbury trying to chase him down at the top end. Didn't get there. 57 10,000s across the finish line. 10.41 with a 3. 129 mile an hour for Armstrong will take the win there. But of course we are in qualifying, so a win or a loss does not matter at this point.
And we have Brian Addising in the airflow lane in another Commodore, and Eden Abella in another Commodore. Eden's car's an LS1 turbo. Oh, doesn't leave the start.
Yeah, just spins those rear tyres for Eden. Makes plenty of power, but obviously in a utility you have to have the power management to get it down the racetrack. Still runs 134 mile an hour and 1150 the ET to a 1247 with a 9 at 110 mile an hour for Ada Singh.
Next we have Colin Arrhenius in a Commodore and Zig in another Commodore. Zig sponsored by Enthroned Kennels and Bulldog.
Must be a dog breeding
Yeah, you would
facility.
think so, eh?
Zig away nicely with a 183 reaction time. No spin, no wheel spin, no nothing. And we'll get through the finish line first one of 11.66 at 114.66.
And 12.5 for Con. We have Aidan Stutchbury in a Commodore and Bruce Ritchie in a 66 Chev Bel Air from Canberra. Bruce is.
Big block Chev under the bonnet of the Bel Air.
572 cube.
045 on the tree, John. Aidan Stutchbury left before the third amber. Now this car, I believe, has been put together in the last week.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a bit of a thrash from the dialed-in racing team. 1261 with a 3, 113 mile an hour to a 1094 with a 2 at 124.
And we've got David Matasevic in a Ford Cortina in the airflow lane and Richard Matasevic in a Ford XY Ute. I'm assuming they're related.
Yes, brothers, of course. But I had shared the table with Richard and David last night at the awards night, and Richard was saying that changed the exhaust in this car, picked up a fair bit of horsepower.
Nice.
So was looking at some performance gains. This run, he's got the jump on his brother, went 015 on the tree.
Nice light, 015.
Only 94 10,000ths across the finish line, so locked together at the stripe. 1073 with an 8 for the utility there.
Only 98 mile an hour, so he probably lifted. Craig Warren in the airflow lane in a LJ Tirana, and Jim Raptus from Picnic Point in a, it says Jeep Trackhawk, but it's not, it's a Tirana.
It's definitely not a track walk.
The screen must be wrong.
It's all right, I will run next door on my break and have these.
006 red for Craig and a 074 for Jim. Craig runs it through for a 1032 at 128 and Jim with a 11.216, 119.
Rodney Balgowan and Robert Matasek on the start line now. Matasek in the big block Chevy Camaro down there in the Rocket Lane from Shell Harbour.
And Rodney from Mount Hutton. I'm not sure where that is. Sponsored by Lake Macquarie Tavern. That's a good sponsor, having a pub as a sponsor. .081 light for Robert.
Camaro definitely going to take the win here. 1081 with the 4, John. 123 mile an hour.
1197 for Rodney. Really good roll-up of Super Street cars here today.
I think there was
32, wasn't there? Yeah, 32.
Yeah, wow.
Really good field.
It's a good field.
Excellent field. Everyone's keen to race. So we have Corey Stutchbury in the airflow lane and Dan Matesic in the rocket lane. Oh, no, this is the, yeah. Another Camaro with a big block, small block, 434. Geez, I'm messing up.
It's all right, it's all right. Pretty little car, this Camaro. It's not going to catch the Commodore across the finish line, though. 1085 with a 7, 125 for the airflow lane.
It was 1106 for the Camaro. Pete Giddens in the rocket lane. Small block Ford in a TD Windsor, in a TD Cortina. And Chris Zammett in a Commodore with a Chev 350.
Yeah, both these guys no stranger to these race cars. Giddens usually just lifts that left front on the hit of the throttle.
And does it again. 063 light for Chris Zammit. And not so good 280 for Pete. You won't be happy with that.
Giddens runs through for an 11.39 with a 6. 119 mile an hour and a 12.0 on the tree for the aeroflow lane there. Looks like Mark Hopkins will go on a solo on this pass, John. Running for Hurricane Metal Roofing, the LX Tirana. Running the Holden 312 cubic inch power plant.
And plenty of sponsors. Arthur Johnson Engineering, CB Welding, Renew Automotive, Guilford Spares, JF Engines and Halltech. Well supported.
050 on the tree for Mark. He's our runner-up in a Super Street last year and the year before in the track championship. So very consistent. 11.05 with a 3. 122 mile an hour.
Well, it's going to be tough to win today with 32 cars.
Would have earned their...
Yep, 5 rounds of tough racing. We're still in Super Street. We've got George Nader in a Nissan GTRS from Matux Racing. They're having a look around that car, so...
Billy just pointing at something. I think... rolled out with L plates on it, John.
Did it?
They've been removed. Of course, George has to be old enough to drive the car himself. He can't go out there with the L plates on. All right, the R35 Skyline is definitely a quick machine out of the box.
And manual too, by the sound of it.
Yeah, they're a 176 60 foot there, and rolls out of the throttle at about 1,000 foot. Still runs 1163 with a 693 mile an hour.
Yep, fast car.
So that's a pretty nice little engine note to it for a quad cam V6.
Okay.
And
next we'll be moving into Speedflow Junior Dragster, but first I'll have to do the track reconfigure for juniors. Okay, we're just waiting for the track reconfigure for Junior Dragster. Do a little bit of celebrity spotting. I can see Trent Smith down there on the start line. And old man Burtonshaw. Billy's there as well. Karen. All the celebrities. And they're all ignoring me. Pretending they can't hear me.
Not one of them reacted, John.
I know, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful.
Of course, Junior Dragster brought to us by Speed Flow products. And,
It's one of the flows.
Yeah. It's fantastic to have them on board. Of course, we can see Joe Princey down there with the starter motor.
The godfather.
Yes, very much
The
so.
godfather of juniors. He was around when you were racing juniors, wasn't he, Bushy?
He was.
Yeah, awesome. He must be old.
I'm feeling old. I'm sure he.
You're not 40 yet, are you?
And some.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Damn, you make me feel old then.
Yeah. See, it's a two-way street, isn't it,
It is
mate?
a two-way street.
It's a two-way street. I've known you for just as long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Liam O'Neill down there, his car fired into life.
Liam is stepping up to B's, I believe.
Yes.
At this meeting.
So going through licensing. Of course, Liam, I'm sure, well capable of controlling the car. Has run C Junior Dragster for a number of years. And taking the step up, he's obviously reached the age where he's able to.
Very enthusiastic little racer he is.
Well,
Loves it.
It comes with the exuberance of youth, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Joe out the front giving the instructions. Dad Jared pushing the car back.
A fair bit of flex in the rear of the chassis on this
Yeah,
car.
isn't it? I think it's one of Joe's cars. The Spitzer car, I believe.
Joe has owned a number of junior dragsters over the years.
Most definitely.
I think he could nearly say he was one of the first to bring in a car from the US. It was the Spitzer make of car anyway.
Yeah. I think Dudek's bought in a US car too back in the day.
Well, they were teamed together for some time.
Yep.
And then they went their separate ways, I guess you could say. And Ricky and Fred brought in their own car and continued racing. 088 on the tree for Liam. Goes 187 to the 60. And an 888 with a 1.
Good job.
And the car pretty consistent too. Went 890 with a 0 on its first or second full power pass. Came back around and did a second pass in that last round of qualifying.
How many passes does he have to do to upgrade his license?
I'm
not sure.
Not sure, John.
Yeah. I don't know if it's 3 or more.
I'd imagine being an upgrade would be fairly straightforward.
Yes, yeah, it's not a new license. We'll have to go ask Joe that question later.
And of course, here is another racer who's taking the step up, and that is Benjamin Adard.
A good-looking little car.
Yeah. Quite like it. I did ask one of the crew guys whose car it was. I thought it might have been one of their old ones, but there's been a little bit of seat swapping in the off-season, I guess.
Yeah.
Been informed that this car was a George Nader, who we just saw run down the racetrack
in
the Skyline. So this is George's old car. Of course, we saw Alexis in Ben's old car. So obviously needing an extra vehicle in the family, that Adard's acquiring his car in the off-season, I dare say, and allowing Benjamin to go a little bit quicker.
The succession plan.
Yes.
Keep stepping up.
Oh, 2-3 red on the tree for Benjamin on this pass. Doesn't matter at this point. It's only going through licensing. And an 804 with a 78 mile an hour. Nice clean pass for him outside that small red light.
Next we have Piper Bennett, who is the current junior dragster track champion.
Yep.
And Zane Condello, both in A junior dragsters.
Yeah, Condello, our current Australian champion.
Yep. So yeah, 2 tough races right here.
Now, we'd love to have known what the mileage that was covered for Zane and the family last season. They did quite a bit of racing. I think they were in the Bend 3 or 4 times maybe. They were down at Mildura. They travelled to Queensland a couple of times. They also raced here, of course.
Yeah.
The track here about an hour away from where they live, so even to get here, a little bit of a mission.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot closer than the other tracks they raced at around the country. But Zane, a very, very tough racer. We can see his grandfather down there on the start line.
An well-deserved championship.
Yep. And that success has been building for that team for probably 18 months or so. Pretty much since Zane and Joe took delivery of this new car. They basically drove the wheels off it to get as much data as possible to learn all the things that they needed to do to get the condition, to read on the conditions. I mean, the engine, I believe, is a US-built power plant, so they correspond with them a little bit in the States, but Zane's grandfather pretty cluey when it comes to tuning these cars, and that's certainly showing in the success that they're having, and Zane very, very good on the lights as well, which is critical. They were up at Willowbank for the New Year's series only last week, and Zane took home another win light there.
Tons of travelling
against, and he was against Carlos Harvey, I think it was, in the final.
Oh, good pair of lights. A 006 for Piper and a 019 for Zane. They'd both be very happy with that. And Piper runs it through for a 8184 and Zane with a 8092.
So Zane picking up a little bit of speed there. It's maybe not as humid as it was. I haven't been outside since coming upstairs this morning, but it was very muggy this morning. So I dare say, even though it's hotter, it's probably a little bit better air conditioned for these little cars. Of course, not massive capacity. There is only one cylinder, so you can only burn so much oxygen.
So we have Tegan Smith in the airflow lane from Albion Park and Chloe Rako in the rocket lane from Albion Park. Pretty good friends, Rako and Smith family.
I think the majority of the races down there are pretty good. Yeah, pretty good friends. Looking at the
know each other,
social media posts and whatnot, that they all seem to get on very well, which is a big thing when you go racing and you spend time with not only to compete, but you've also got that friendship element as well.
100%. Well, I'm sure the friendship stops when the helmets are on.
Oh, 100% it does. Alright, so Smith in the aeroflow lane. Stop, slow at traffic control.
Both girls are in AA Junior Dragster.
It's AA, the new class designation that was introduced the end of last season. Mainly competitors could run, I believe, 760.
Yeah, it's awesome.
In these cars, there was a speed limit as well, I think, but 760 is the ET. IHRA basically recognising that the cars can run a fair bit quicker than what they were limited at before.
059 for Chloe and a 033 for Tegan. Both good lights.
Yeah, and a 773 with a 683 mile an hour for Smith, to a 767 with a 3 at 84 mile an hour for Rako in the rocket lane. So Rako running a little bit too quick there.
Yeah, both Tommy and Trent will tell you how much fun these cars are to tune. Not.
They're fun when they go right, but when they're not,
frustrating.
Can be a little bit frustrating, but that's any car, I'm sure, John. You would have the same.
You drop a cylinder in one of these, you're toast.
That's it. Game over. Silence.
All right, Joshua Maggs, the airflow lane, all the way from Wallam, Victoria, and Savannah Condello, sister of Zane, from Albion Park Rail.
Savannah, pretty tough racer in her own right. She does really, really well. This car known for miler, having a pretty big terminal speed at the top end of the racetrack. So obviously making plenty of horsepower. And Condello running for Fine Line Motorsports. Mags running for Road Warrior Trailers, Speedflow Performance Products, and Atlantic Oils. See these awesome shots from a Blendline TV on the start line. That's Joshua Maggs on screen there, leaving with a 1:14 reaction time. Condello a 10th better with an 0:47. And Condello gets there first, 8:06 with a 3:83 mile an hour at the top end of the racetrack. And an 8:12 with a 9:79 mile an hour for Leifting. For Mags rather. Next up we'll have Charlotte Leifting in the airflow lane. I think the Speedflow Products taking on Jaden Bunasev. Bunasev over there in the North Blocks Auto Centre car in the rocket lane. See Bunasev down there being guided into stage by Harry Reiko, very experienced racer. Of course, too old for the category at the end of last season. Leifting in the airflow lane, leaves the start line with a 1:63 reaction time and a 1:96 on the tree for Bunasev in the rocket lane. Leifting will take the win though, 8:42 with a 3:76 miles an hour through the top end to a 12:77 at 49 mile an hour for Jaden in the rocket lane. The next pair rolling towards the start line. We have Aubrey Maggs in the airflow lane.
Up from Victoria, Wallen. In rocket lane, we've got Georgia Leifting from Oxley Island in New South Wales, both in B Junior Dragsters.
Have you had a chance this morning to check out the new trailer for Maggs? I believe they debuted. He was talking about it on social media, and I assume that it's here. He had a new trailer that he was building.
Road Warrior Trailers.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. If you want a fancy trailer to transport your race car in, he's the man to go see.
I'll go down and have a squiz at that later.
The way I read the Facebook post is that it was all but finished a new trailer for the team.
Aubrey goes 0:37 red, and Georgia with a nice 0:25. Aubrey runs through for an 8:55 with an 8, and Georgia with an 8:57 with a 5.
Yeah, good side-by-side race there, John. Only 700ths across the finish line. Our next pair will have Taylor Smith for Northwest Parts and Performance in the airflow lane.
And Johnny Lucci from Menangle in the rocket lane.
See Smith there on screen.
Johnny's dad heavily involved in the burnout scene. from.
Taylor into full stage now.
2:32 light for Taylor and a 0:92 light for Johnny. Taylor runs through for a 7:86 and Johnny with a 9:05. Then we have Emma Leifting in a C Junior Dragster and Jake McNamara in a AA Junior Dragster.
McNamara cut a really good light in the first round of qualifying with 005. He puts a lot of pressure on himself to cut a good light. Also to run consistent. Two competed at the recent New Year's Series up at Willowbank. They're not liking the heat that those competitors all raced in. Of course, Willowbank Raceway was very warm on that race day. Leifting into full stage now. McNamara just into pre-stage now. Now into full. The tree will count down. 079 red on the tree for McNamara this time.
And a 046 on the right side of the tree for Emma.
And an 813 with a 3, 79 mile an hour for McNamara. Picked up about a 100th of a second there. And a 12.20 with a 7 for Leifting. Also got a little bit quicker. Really a 100th of a second there, I think, John. Edith
bags. How many bags are there?
Two.
Two.
Okay. There's Edith and Josh.
And Savannah Lucci. In a C.
So many siblings racing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Brothers and sisters everywhere.
Yeah, fantastic. Really nice family, the Luccis. His grandfather used to race a HK Monaro in Super Sedan.
Yes, he did.
With a Jericho.
Very, very tough
And
race.
won the Nationals 1 year at Calder.
He did. Won many races, actually.
Yeah, he was a damn good racer. And his son was a good racer too.
Very much so. Both his sons were in junior drag. So Jason went on to race several different cars. Alcohol Dragster, Corvette as well.
Yeah, the Corvette was in Super Comp, I think.
Yep. 12.30, 53 mile an hour there for Edith in the aeroflow lane.
Next we have George DeCarlos in a C Junior Dragster in the airflow lane and Alex Rottenbury in a AA Junior Dragster. Alex from Picton and George from Wetherill Park. George sponsored by Brick and Go Bricklaying and Alex by Hunter Race Engines. Alex is also sponsored by LJ Constructions and Scruffy. George is also sponsored by Hume Performance. They've been around a long time.
They still have it.
Still at, Warwick Farm.
Warwick Farm?
Yeah, El Toro Estate.
They were right near 10 Tenths Motorcycle, I think, from memory.
Yeah, Lenny was there for a fair bit too.
Alright, so Carlos in the C Junior Dragster. Rottenbury running AA. Will be a reasonable gap across the finish line with these two, but that does not mean that they will not compete a little bit later on this afternoon, where of course dial-ins and handicaps come into play. Away with a 001 on the tree, John.
Gotta be happy with that.
Damn, that looked red. Red by a long way, but stayed green. 781 with a 3, 83 mile an hour through the top end to a 1244 with a 4 at 52 for Takalis in the aeroflow lane there.
Never complain about a 001.
No, I would never complain about a 00 anything.
Next we have Riley Ito from Greystanes in the AA Junior Dragster, and Robbie Risteski in a B Junior Dragster up from Queanbeyan. Riley sponsored by Murphy Finance Solutions and Robbie by CA Motorsport.
Pretty cool looking race cars. You see that really nice low shot on the stream there. That is Riley Ito on screen right now.
That is a good shot, isn't it?
It shows exactly how low these cars are to the ground. Some drivers sitting a little bit more upright. We see their Riley's car, the cage and body fairly high. Some of the other cars are quite low, like you're laid right down in. I know that the car I used to race is sat up, which suited me. I don't know how I'd go in a lay down car.
Probably having a little bit of trouble staging.
This car got the dual element wing on the back, which we can see from up here. Riding into an 011 light to an 055.
These guys are tough on the tree.
Yeah. And a 790 with an 881 mile an hour for Ito.
And a 889 for Robbie, 71 mile an hour.
Robbie's car pretty consistent on the previous qualifying time that he laid down. Next up we will see Jeffrey McNiff from Warrington Downs for St Mary's Engines and SCG Race Parts.
Alex Rafalo, AA Junior Drags, figure. Very good field of cars here today, Bushy. Speed Flow Junior Drags, still got 28 cars.
Yeah, another strong field. Probably five rounds of racing on GSC.
And whoever wins this will have earned it. Plenty of tough races in this bracket.
You see Rafalo up at the starting line. He came out in the first round and the car not happy as soon as he touched the throttle. It went to the stall on it. Just over the 163 light. McNiff out in front. 540 cc's doing its thing. 778 with a 982 mile an hour in the airflow lane.
And 837 for Alex, or 833, excuse me. Got the dyslexia going on today.
Oh, I've had it a couple of times already. All right, looks like a Jacob Longo for Trackside Automotive will run a solo here. We're going to have a few more license passes following that.
There's a couple of licensing in junior mod too.
No, there's three cars here, three bikes in that field today that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
If there's someone licensed.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they did. Oh, there's four.
Before the tree was activated. No, he didn't. Slap me.
No, it's okay. Just try not to highlight it, John.
I'll own my mistakes.
095 on the tree there for Longo. The car not sounding great across the finish line though on the track mic, so not sure. That car usually pretty consistent. We have seen Jacob take home a couple of trophies here from Sydney Dragway in the recent past.
Liam and Anil back. He was at the beginning of this session.
Yes, that's exactly right. So they're trying to get him licensed. Do those.
To make first round, I guess.
Yeah.